Talk to you later. Okay, I need Hello, everybody. Hello, my mic's not on yet. Hi, guys. Welcome to Avail. Very special night tonight. Going to have a little chat with you about that after we have our 5-word challenge, little warm up there. We're going to go straight into it. It's going to be a really blitzy one this time, guys. Lots fit in tonight, and you're going to help me to do that. So, just going to go straight into it. If you can throw 5 words at me, any 5 words at all. Hello, there we go. Also, hello to our viewers online. So, first donation of a word from anybody at all, including the online audience, if you'd like to write one in. Scrumptious. We have scrumptious.
Ghost.
Ghost. Alchemy. Oh. Pardon? Catkin. What is that?
What?
Flower on a willow.
It's the flower on a willow. Catkin. Spell it?
C-A-T-K-I-N.
C-A-T-K-I-N. And one more.
Desire.
Desire. Oh. So we have scrumptious, ghost, alchemy, catkin, and desire. I'm going to give you about 11.5 minutes. For anyone who doesn't know what's going on, now is your time if you'd like to write a poem containing those 5 words. And I will say, if you are competing in the slam tonight, you may not enter the 5-word challenge, if you don't mind. So you'll be running over your words anyway. If you are competing tonight, please don't enter. Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes and we'll be back.
Desire, Catkin, ghost, scrumptious. What was the other one? Alchemy. Alchemy, yeah. That's 5 words. Join me on that one. Sorry.
It's my personality. There's always me. I can't hide my
I would, it's actually very popular. At your own risk. And it's all. I know what you after for. Do you know? Yeah, I know we're not gonna.
This is your 1 minute warning to squeeze in the last word or the last few lines before I invite you to read your poems. Dun, 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 boom. Hello. Time is up. Time's up unless you want to go last and use the next 5 minutes to scribble. I'm going to open up the mic now. Again, if you are one of the 16 competitors in the slam tonight, please refrain from entering the 5-word challenge. And audience, the judges of this 5-word challenge are yourselves. So please make loads of noise if you like something. The winner will get a book and a free pint at the bar. So there it is, open sesame, whoever would like to come first, and please mention your name before you begin reading.
Hi. So my poem calls Liquid Alchemy. Clouds rename the time. Faithful desire. Liquid alchemy that burns my words. Wisdom is a ghost. Fanny Catkin lost in the note of an old scrumptious fairy tale. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. She said.
No, I'm talking to you.
Those are online.
Oh, they're online, okay. We're going to jump to online next since our gang here is hesitant. Ben Burns, next up for the 5 words.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Ben. Hello, Ben.
Hi, I wish I was there. It looks like good crack. Here's my 5-word poem. Desire is an alchemical process that turns catkins to powdered gold. The hung sex of a ghost I've been longing for. Sally Rod, scrumptious willow.
Okay, there's no one wrestling me here yet, so we're going to stay online with Brendan Murray, please.
Hi, sorry, it's Mulcahy, it's not Murray.
Sorry, Brendan.
Okay. Catkins exist, though they evidently catkins exist, though they keep their presence hidden. Ghosts don't. No more to work on there. Desire more than passable, though championing Hurricane Carter was not Bob's smartest move. Alchemy is for the birds. Don't work. Scrumptious. This one's not a noun. My God, it's an adjective. A belly-filling pudding sort of word.
Yeah, of course you can. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. Tearing my eyes out and every other fibre peeling off of the skin, so scrumptious and soothing in my mouth. Cooked thin like a ghost, salted and peppered, it tastes bitter in my mouth, not really there at all. And I admit I have seen more beautiful things, like a catkin hanging like a dead thing from the alder. You are the dead thing now, waiting to sustain me life. And I wait for you, crisp, grateful that you have desired me to offer up you to me your skin. You wore it, I ate it. Are we now alchemy? Maybe magic lovers. Thanks, Ellen. Could we now jump back online to Jeff Cottrell, please?
Okay. I feel a great unquenched desire for a ghost that dwells upon the Shire. She was rumored to be Heathcliff's Catherine, but I knew her once as Lady Jane Catkin. I love her for her hair so messed, and also for those scrumptious breasts. She was once a master of alchemy, with lots of help from her pal Jimmy. That's as far as that got.
What's Shane up next?
So, emotion cave. The soft silver skin of the catkin slips through my fingers scrumptiously. Is it alchemy, or is it the fairies stealing children from their families, leaving nothing but ghosts and desire to go back to the way it used to be?
Thanks for Shane, lovely. Back online to Generalissimo.
So, when she was alive, she heard Captain T would provide a psychedelic experience that could end her anxiety, a desire she so wished. She picked 8 flowers from her mother's 200-year-old weeping willow tree, poured boiling water over the flowers in a 1-liter glass pitcher. The lavender concoction smelled nothing less than scrumptious. When she drank her act of alchemy, she died almost immediately after she felt the hot run through her throat. Unfortunately, the Google article for Cactin Tea neglected to mention that cactus stamens were poisonous. As a ghost, she was never seen, but cried tears of cactus petals in her wake.
Thank you. There's no time for niceness now, guys. Come on, I want to see more wrestling.
Someone has to.
She appears every night, wearing my desires for allure. Scrumptious always, she descends into my mind, like a ghostly catkin, ethereal, yet as concrete as my lust. She breathes in my ear, and the alchemy melt my senses together. 5 words that I won't remember when I come to at dawn.
I'm going to jump online again quickly with Catherine Baden, please.
Hi. Well, that one was hard, would be hard to follow, but I'm trying. Okay. The catkin. The catkin was only 3 months old, but already full of sexual desire, most especially for gluttonous, muscular male ghosts. You see, a devilish old witch had used her alchemy to cast a wicked spell on the baby catkin, turning her from what was once a flowering spike of a wee small tree into a most desirable and also desiring, curvaceous female apparition. Ooh, scrumptious.
Excuse me, sorry. Could we all work to find this man another seat, because it's a little bit precarious here. You see, this stool is in a traffic cone in disguise. We can't touch it because all this is so it's just a little bit crowded. If you wouldn't mind, I'm sure there's a stool or a corner somewhere.
Also, dear, you call me a man, it's the wrong phone, I'm highly offended.
Excuse me. Okay, so next up, have we anyone else in the room? Go for it, yeah.
My name is Laura. The poem is called Purple Haze, which is a phrase that means to be in love. The desire to be in a purple haze, to hold your gaze and appear to be something scrumptious to you, and to eventually utter the words, I do. Your tattoos like alchemy upon your arm are something I love the most. They will still remain when you are a ghost. I'll make wishes like we did at the Trevi Fountain, only in our garden by the pond. When you're gone, I'll be by the lake, alone like Yeats once was, when the seasons changed and the willow blooms catkins again.
Good evening. I've never read a poem before. This is very terrifying. The ghost of a seed, through alchemy's fire, the catkins bloom, there's time's sumptuous desire.
Thanks. Don't forget to mention your name.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Hi, I'm Sarah. Beneath the shade of the willow, I noticed the catkin slip from the arms. Excuse me, I can't read my own writing. I'm nervous too. Beneath the shade of the willow, I noticed the catkin slip from the arm, like the ghost of my desire, drifting down the wayward stream to eternity. What's scrumptious alchemy?
Thanks. I appreciate the counterintuitive wooing for intense poems. That's what we need. We're going to jump back online with Pam Campbell, please.
Okay. Can y'all hear me okay? Yeah. All right. Can y'all hear me? Okay, great. Okay, here we go. Tansy. Green-eyed catkin mine, or catecund, as the Dutch say. Transformed desire, pooling its ghostly alchemy, leaps high in air with paws held wide in glorious, scrumptious flight. I, breath caught, breathe when she lands unscathed. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Catherine, and my poem is called Enough. The alchemy of image and your love sparks years of failure. Scrumptious pavements and walls kiss my cheeks with blue eyes of lost desire. But your ghost clings to my skin with sticky sap of catkin until the therapist says enough.
Thanks, Catherine. You're always getting them going, like. Have we anyone else from the room or online? Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. I'm called Karen. Texting my friend in New York, can you go to the poetry night, Ovale? You can just watch us ghost-like. On the screen we are catkins, frail, fragile, skeletons of dandelion clocks. The room is seized with the alchemy of scrumptious desire and ambition.
Any more scratches there from the back of the room? Oh, there is.
I have to say that I didn't understand 3 of the 5 words, so I did my best. I don't have a name for that. So, I'm Ségolène, by the way. The ghost of the cliff rises from the waves of desire from the sea. He is reborn each night, mysterious alchemy. Scrumptious figure, blessing of past ages. Be careful if you come across, you'll be captive, as surely as a tree is held by ivy. Lovers kiss under the mistletoe. He's waiting for you with the catkin in hand. Enjoy.
Okay. We happy? Are we content?
Yes.
Sender?
Miserable.
We're miserable. Okay. Okay. Final opportunity now. Okay. It's gonna be very hard to choose a winner. All I can go by is an asterisk that I put next to a particularly loud reaction, and it was one of our online readers, actually. Jeff Cottrell. And Jeff, I will now invite you to read your poem again, and because you regrettably can't claim your free drink from the bar, maybe you could donate it to another 5-word contestant if you like. Up to you.
Okay, do you need a moment?
He doesn't love you.
Yay! Okay, let me find this thing again. I'll have to take a moment to think about where I'm donating this thing, but here's the poem again. I feel a great unquenched desire for a ghost that dwells upon the Shire. She was rumored to be Heathcliff's Catherine, but I knew her once as Lady Jane Catkin. I love her for her hair so messed, and also for those scrumptious breasts. Yes, objectifying. She was once a master of alchemy with lots of help from her pal Jimmy. To be continued.
Thanks, Jeff. Well done.
Thank you.
If you do want to donate that point, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm sure there'll be a random celebration.
No, you can have it. You can
Oh,
have
I
it.
won't have it. No, I won't have it.
You can have it.
We'll have a fight here over it. Okay, guys. So thanks for everyone who competed there in the 5-word challenge. That was a great warm up. Bear with me now for a minute. I'm going to get a few words off my chest. Some announcements. I'll tell you what the story is for the rest of the night, and then we can crack on with it. So first of all, Ovail keeps start again. So first of all, Ovail aims to maintain a safe space for writers and attendees and subscribes to the Arts Council's Equality, Diversity and Inclusion policy. We ask participants to maintain respectful when communicating, to report any offensive behaviour to Ovail. Also, the 10th 5 Words International Poetry Competition continues. The words for this week are cold, quake, cormorant, urban and dig. This event will be recorded and available to revisit as an MP3 podcast on video via vimeo.com/Ovail. The Cork Short Story Festival is on this week, starting on Wednesday until Saturday. Details are at corkshortstory.net. On Monday, the 14th of November, Ovail guests are Jane Ayres and Maurice Scully. Friday, the 25th to the 27th of November it's a very exciting month for Ovail. It's our 10th Winter Warmer Festival. The programme will appear online in the next week or so. Hybrid festival at Nanonagle Place. All events are free as usual, except for the All-Ireland Poetry Slam final, which is going to be on Sunday the 27th at 3 p.m.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
No. What's no Ovail?
Ovail is the name of this event. It's the Irish meaning from the mouth.
Oh, okay.
No problem. I'll spell it out for you later if you want. So tickets will for that All Ireland Slam will be available soon on our social media and Eventbrite. Thanks to everyone who's kindly offered us donations through our whole life here. The donation jar is under the horse's head as usual, and PayPal donations can also be made during a link which we will share on our website. So if we can start circulating the tip jar around the horse's head around the room, please. Now, so tonight, what's the crack? Okay, we've 17 contestants now in Monksy, and 16. And you haven't heard a word I said because I'm sure you're just running the lines through your mind. How we're going to run tonight is we're going to have our Munster Slam round 1, where we will have those 16 contestants. Our contestants will have a maximum of 3 minutes to complete their pieces. They will be judged by our lovely judges here, Stanley Knott, Sean Lee Lynch and Julie Goo, based on their performance, content/substance, timing/audience reaction. And if you exceed the 3 minutes or come in after a 10-second poem, you may be penalised for that too.
Let's have a rap battle.
Okay, so yeah. Yeah, if you're showing any signs of interrupting our guests tonight, we'll have no problem in showing you the door because we won't have our night spoiled with interruptions. So okay, and after all that, guys, we'll have our slam round 1. Then we're going to have our guest Abby Oliveira reading for us. Then we'll have our slam round 2, in which how many? 6 competitors will compete in slam round 2. Abby will give another short reading while our judges deliberate. Then we will announce the winner after a break, and we'll have a regular open mic after that. So our 16 competitors are going to run through your names really quick now. Are Jason Fisher, Jim Crickard, Lauren Mcnamara, Richard Pearce, Darren Brown, Sue Blue, Karen McCartan, Mel White, Jamie Lawton, Carl Holden, Nylern, Cosmic, Cara Kirsch, Phyllis Bland, Brendan Duffin and Ryan Morgan. That is not the running order you'll be reading in. We're going to randomise that by pulling your names out of some sort of a hat. And Colm Scully here is going to be our gong ringer after 3 minutes as well. And that's about it. We're not used to getting competitive here at O'Vale, so that's what it'll sound like. Yes. Okay, thanks for sticking with me there, guys, through all those words. Will we start? Will we start our slam? See you later. Sloan, Ewa. Take care. Yeah, thank God for that. So, can we get our first name out of the hat, please? Oh, let's go.
Thanks very much. This is called The Server Hermit. It's a biography. Servers. Through their services, like big boxy bits of butters that are locked in iron cages, their green eyes are winking at me as I pass on. I shift to the shuttle with the air conditioners. They prolong the heat wave with this exhausting ice age. At the back lies a midnight black, a Dell Optiplex 960, with its dark braille door hanging a jar. In there its motherboard tingles electric emerald, like Mother Earth, a boarded up circuit garden. Pagoda chipsets, extensions and RAMs stowed under by flakes of dust. I click in the USBs and screw in the lilac VGA. I shove a power cable up its backside, the fan exhales. And finally, I press its bindi and ignites its whole nature. Like a beast awakened from suspended meditation, the monitor blinks and displays its GUIs like psychedelic flowers at dawn. Tum-tee-tum-tum-tum, that window XP chimes. It tells me things is doing and done in that passive mannerism, like my faithful familiar. I subside in the hum of a surf forest, get away from the windy variable outside where the elements can invade. Suddenly the power supply coughs and the computer blinks out, and so do I. Thank you.
Well done, Philip, thanks. Colin's pulling our next name out.
Chasmic.
Chasmic. Welcome.
Hi, it's Chasmic. Come a little closer to the point in which our breaths will collide and I'll crave the ditch into which we can slip and yet feel safe, never to abandon each other like waifs, but to contemplate in the growing chasm our heart's endless enthusiasm, but sense my exhale and the next hail that'll hit our windowsill when we were in limbo until your air is mine. Finger Siamese, vertebrae in my spine as I drop to my knees, in the endless moment to quench, from the bottom of this torture trench, to see the light in the sky, though we will fight, see eye to eye, never destroy, never demolish, caress me trembling and praise me accomplished, let me be the genie to your wish, wear that leopard bikini and swim like a fish, pretend to be drowning, so I can save. Let's keep clowning, cause we weren't born to behave in the uncertain chaos of thoughts that pound, untie the knots and replace the crown of constant questioning, traumatic bullying to replace own aggression and immerse fully in the joy of the light. with the fight that's been won, when we have been one since the 4th of the 5th, from north to south to be together and with and without, and the times we'll have to overcome the days from gross to glum, when we feel another dose of dumb and engrossed and numb, but till the fructose will shower my gum in the smile that you bring. Although I sit for a while in the wings, I urge you to merge with yourself like never before, to emerge in abundance from the shelf not expired, and to rejoice in the sore that once craved to hide under the bed on the floor. Now for your being to pour rain, not for pain, but for the ultimate joy that will be an acceptance of all of your tortured harmony. Come a little closer to the point in which our lashes are kissing, the splashes created in the abyss, newly christened, and you'll be in awe at the way your eyes glisten, and the tears will evaporate into the ripples of time when you weren't enough, handcuffed, scuffed, forced to become buff to your own brain, when those thoughts were demons, couldn't be restrained, when every movement was strained and every smile was feigned. Now wash away sorrow and pain, and rejoice, not by force or by obligation, but by choice, and delight in the sound of your own voice, and the sight of your loose, long arms freeing from abuse. They are strong in the harm they endured. Come a little closer in your promiscuous pure to engulf, indulge, and fuck those who made you question you. I'm awestruck. Now you've become unstuck, not luck, not breathless rubber duck that needs to be filled in order to release. You are full always, a little closer to peace. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Ryan Morgan.
Ryan Morgan. Here we go.
Okay. Hi. This is called Ethnic Streets. We were never going to buy any cows. After all, we lived in a terraced house, and we had no room for bovines in our cramped stone row confines. When my dad worked nights, he couldn't handle even slight noise during the day, so there was absolutely no way he'd approve of cattle a-lowing or of hooves a-rattling and echoing. And yet, for reasons that still elude me, one Saturday Dad took us to see, motivated by rural romanticism, I reckon, the cattle market in the town of Brecon. I immediately noticed some differentiation, a variation within our nation. The look and smell of the country in this rich land of milk and money spoke to a different Wales, the real one, than the poor Vale from which I was from. Here the pulses of life followed the beats of planting and harvests and seasons and beasts, rather than the mechanized dictates of punch cards and shifts and factory gates. Language was another difference, as Welsh was traded over the fence. This to me was unintelligible, and I felt self-consciously monolingual. Once I was in a play in the youth I steadfod, and this little Catholic boy couldn't cod onto the director's Welsh creative instructions. My ignorance of his hectoring yells created ructions. I couldn't figure out one single angry wish. Why couldn't he express his artsy rage in English? An old Irish piper once said disparagingly, when after his recital he was introduced to me, that as I did not speak Welsh, "You're not the real McCoy." I should have replied, "What the hell? You're from Fermoy." I came to maturity on the heads of the valley, and my authenticity you don't get to tally as something less than because I don't conform to your preconceived notions of where I was born. I should have told him to stick his pipes where the sun don't shine. But I'm too polite, so I just nodded and smiled. Years later, living in Ireland as an expatriate, I met an old priest who'd been a curate in my hometown in the 60s. Before my time, but we still traded memories. And he proffered that his big regret was that the church refused to integrate Catholic schooling into wider Welsh culture. Come to think of it, we always felt like oil on water. In fact, he said the avowed parish credo was to run the place like an Irish ghetto. And this, he explained, was why Welsh wasn't taught, and mass rang with hymns about the Sacred Heart rather than Calon Lan, Gwahaddiad and Ar Hyd yn Nos, which spells out why I'm limited to monolingual discourse. There are lots of other explanations why the southeast of my nation doesn't speak the mother tongue, proximity to the border being one. And then there was mass Victorian immigration for work during the Industrial Revolution. I don't mind the penalties. And we were forced by London to be monoglot with punitive measures such as the Welsh knot. But all in all, does it make me any less of a Celt that I converse in English because of the hand I was dealt?
Thank you, Ryan. And out he goes.
Jim Cracker.
Jim Crickard.
Own your roots. Now, before I say what I'm about to say, I'll need signatures on these NDAs. I'm trusting you with the disclosure, risking an image I've carefully doctored. My deep, dark secret is I am from Kerry. I know, it's hard to believe. I carry a large bag with all of my discarded parts. The Healy Rays, muttering inside about drink driving and denying climate change. In his own words, sure God will find a way. But those brothers know how to whip votes, promising to fix potholes, Kerry's form of activism. I remember my grandmother getting political after the bacon and cabbage. Do you know the difference between a box of fags and the roads? You'll find tar in the fags. And as I was saying, I carry a large bag with all of my discarded parts. I have fine-tuned my accent to be clean as Newbridge silverware. Around the neck of Anne Doyle, doe-eyed on the screen, wielding an accent clean as cut glass. I don't fumble out extra H's or R's or squish my sentences under a fork. Every word is spoken to be heard. Now and then, whilst having brunch, tracing my finger around the rim of Honey Nut Nougat Fudge craft beer, I'll excuse myself for the toilet, slipping on my Kerry-Go lies, flat on my arse, novena of cows, chickens, Healy Rays flying out of the bag, mud in my glossy shoes. As I lay splayed in my social faux pas, hoof prints all over my sophistication, I begin to think about the wilds of my land. I am a man of the elements, a blessing and a curse, a wild-eyed Celtic fairy, Fort Queen, Maeve laying splayed, shale under my left eye, limestone palms, spring water tears. I feel I am beautiful. Monsieur Cartographer, paint me like one of your French borders. Build a quarry into my heart. You will find chasms of loving Kerry people. Drill into my belly button. You will find fairy forts, another world in an enclosed space. Cross me or my fairies and we'll bog burst the worst soil creep nightmares all over your dreams.
Dara Brown.
Dara Brown.
Dara Brown? No?
Is he here? Is it Dara? Darren?
Dara.
Dara Brown?
He might be late.
He might be late. We will put a pin in it.
Brendan Duffin.
Brendan Duffin.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do this because I prepared some pieces and I realized they were way over 3 minutes, but I improvised yeah, a haiku. Spring day, a dog sits guarding the universe.
Oh.
This is It's no fair, those penalties in the room tonight.
Jamie Lawton.
I know not everybody rhymes, and I don't know why that is. All I know is why I do, and what it is about rhyme that fits with a mind that sits in a mire, mixed and tired and affixed with briars and sticks, a mess of conflict, looking like it can't be fixed. But how else do you start? How do you create your art? How do you write what can hit me hard, what is in your head and is in your heart? Because for me, it's hard to choose the word to use without some rules in place. I need some limits. I need some constraints. There's too much I could say, too little that I want to. I'd rather not be talking about the things by which I'm haunted, but the caution that I guard my thoughts with drops and falls away. The diversion is what lets me be more honest. So what can I say that rhymes? What fits into 16 bars? By finding ways to make it hard, I can write what is in my heart, and I can start to pull apart the hardened part of me that resists being described directly. Thank you.
Thanks to the barmaid, I'll come back and pay for this then. I only have 3 minutes.
Richard Pierce.
Richard Pierce.
Should
I say Rich
I don't even know anymore myself. I am lonely. I'm not needy or desperate looking for respite from the click, click, click of sick thoughts. I'm not in need of an extension of your attention. I'm not lamenting lost loves listed listlessly over and over and over and over again. And I'm not in need of pity or validation from strangers. But I'm in rumination of why. And that's a hard thing to say. Because loneliness isn't represented by the number of social circles compressed within a repressed text message box your phone could rock with group chat chatter. The matter at hand fall mainly on the superficial remissions of our troubled minds, or the entwining of limbs, hands that breeze over skin unknown, living in sin, loving the wind as you blow down my neck. And loneliness isn't solved by socialization. Sitting at your station, your movements could develop to a near elation, but crash like a car smashed into a wall when bar lights flick on off, last call. But instead, I think it's about having access. Access to a community in tune with me and my desires and I with theirs. Access to someone who I know cares when I don't care about myself. Access to friends who'll take shelved passions and delve into dreams and make some real shit happen. Access to someone to offload the thoughts that I hold private for fear of their intensity, the immensity, either minuscule or massive, knowing I've an option to let loose or just be passive. But I don't really feel like I have that. So I start to look for replacement therapy with my hope stroked by ego, choked by reality and enveloped in an insecurity. So first I look at the past, at the last time I had it. I think of some past moment of devotion, entertaining notions that the emotions that I felt then were a progression of myself and not a regression of my mental health. And I'll fail to acknowledge that my own growth slowed since that first kiss, and I'll reminisce through rows and rinse my memory of the inorganic thoughts influenced by the actions of the other, and I'll wince at a status update from a former lover. And then, the present. Can anyone hear me? I exist like this, like that, not static but erratic in color, take cover, because tonight it feels like I'm gonna fucking blow. And I know you know I need you helplessly, selfishly in need. And we could sit here and talk shite all night about self-love, or I'll be fine if I push this feeling down and drown it out by increasing the frequency of activity in my brain, knowing I will feel the same when I wake, unable to shake the fact that I shook shit up again. And then, the future. I won't feel this way in Argentina or in Tibet, no regret, leaving certainty behind. My thoughts will align as I find myself. And beyond that, a cottage in the wild, 2 dogs carving logs into furniture, no financial strain. I'll regain my composure as the unknown here. I'll have wife, I'll have kids, I'll have no bad days, I'll never feel strange, it'll all be sorted. Finally. And for a while you'd almost believe it, but you put opportunity in my path and I'll tread all over till I destroy the fabric that held it together, such is my human nature. So remember that I know this feeling isn't forever. But it is valid. It's not less or more valid because it's written in verse, rehearsed in a performance. So ignore this in me, but see it in yourselves.
Well done, Richard. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything.
Cathal Holden.
The fires and the hills. The sun, she sank behind a crest. The waves were breaking in my breast. I turned my heart towards the west. My singing was an ancient song. The moon, she wept, and so did I, a diamond in a panther's eye. I called her spirit from the sky. My chanting was an ancient song. I beat my heart upon my drum. I sat and sold reflections from the glitter silver of my tongue. I sucked the blister on my thumb. I saw the things that had not come. My music was an ancient sound. I saw wheat in the fields that will never be bred, for they bandage and swaddle to misshape the head. They beat swords into ploughs, into offering plates, but they sacrificed women on the altar of state, where vultures were feeding on salmon and trout, for the river had burst from its throat to its mouth. The chiefs told the people they must shore up its banks, where the shells in the harbour all siphoned and drank. In a dandelion nation, it seeds on the wind that pisses the bed when it's asked to let in asylum seekers and justice and soul, where the kings and magicians all queue for the dole. Abraham, prisons and wombs, Easter, peacekeepers, teachers and tombs, Ishtar and Ashling and Jesus' wounds, the Lord in a pipe in a garden in tune. Through that bitterest blackness, the darkness of doubt, I heard Ireland's call to the barman to put on a stout, and the whistles were blowing from glen unto glen for the treason of trying to make monsters of men. Now in these fogs my nae-vogue sank at sea, my vision swam 10,000 leagues of braided vines and knotted leaves and washed up on a silver beach. Along that shore of ash and oak, the forest lent me of its cloak, and in my ear it softly spoke, said, all are welcomed from the cold. Now on first summer's nights we build the fire on the holy hill. Beneath the sky the stars have filled, or clouds have gathered in their quilts. The fire spread out through the night, lit in reply on every height. From centre to the edge of sight, the darkness burned away by light. The sun is rising in the east. The people come to join the feast. The river flows from most to least. Our music is an ancient sound.
Well done, Colin.
Jason Fisher.
Now this is fantastic. Did you know I can take that pain and stack it, attack it, shake the foundations until they melt and make a real racket? Crack it, break it up, send it spinning in spheres furious across felt, then re-rack it, unmask it, brace it against the wall by the throat, hear it gasp, ask it, your message has been felt. Can you not try a tactic which is tacit? But there's ever only two choices, reenact it or redact it. That's it. No need for dramatics. I can stretch it, examining every facet. Then eject it, casting it off when it happens not to be an exact fit. And suddenly all the clicking, hissing, steaming thoughts are streaming. And it seems I'm gleaning meaning from the present moment and everyone proceeding and everyone preceding. If you don't fix yourself, you'll damage those who were never the cause of your bleeding. So I folded up inside this golden insight, cradle it next to my heart, and mold it with time until I feel it in the day and I know it at night. But how much is filled with false flags and dichotomies? Probably all of them. Look, life completely kicked me in the teeth so solidly, but I found a new shtick and checked its heft and quality, letting that ego death swallow me. I'm happy to be alive. You know what I'm saying? I've been dissecting my days, dividing my time between striving and straying. And I have decided I am staying, decided I'm facing whatever makes or breaks him. Is there any escape from the trauma I've been encased in, caked in? Or is it seared in, baked in? I don't know. But until then, it's only impenetrable armor draped over freckled snakeskin, because I have decided I am Jason.
Niall Ahern. Niall Ahern.
Spin the cobwebs. Spin the cobwebs, spin the cobwebs, spin the cobwebs, spin the cobwebs, spin the cobwebs in your mind. And delicate, let your fingers hover over their thin lines and place with the care of a mother's love, your hands upon some silky threads that once wove all the previous dread that resides in your head, and under touch, feel how they just peel away, as ever if they could stay. Ever stay to conceal what you thought was real before and before and before and before, when the webs held all that they could bear and they became heavy with a mind's load and with every song that was sung and every story that was told. You now hold in your mind. You grew bolder and bolder and let your thoughts flow into action. And now you stand here, clear of any past pretense to stress this sense of touch, and touch you must reach out to grasp the cobwebs in your mind, to reveal what you may find. This shining center of thought and diction, and in this fiction there's friction, and the fact remains clear to you, my dear, that you just dissolve to solve and let go of the fear. So spin the cobwebs in your mind. Spin the cobwebs in your mind, and delicate, let your fingertips hover over their thin lines and place with the care of a mother's love your hands upon some silky threads. Now, you can make a bed with these webs. Lie down and clear your mind of any haze, and remember to forget all the past ways and all the past days, because what was, and what is, it is just it. Understand this, to let the bliss slip as you slide, revealing all you ever wished to hide. Because you are naked now, and that bears the question of what it is that's truly stressing your mind. Man, look within and you can truly, truly, truly find that you are the greater and the creator of both a heaven and a hell, and it's only ever you who can choose where to dwell, so dwell there and rise to rise there. Come so close to look you in the eye, and by you stop, you release, and you say that goodbye. 'Cause you live now, but never forget that you too must die. So lie down. So lie down. So lie down. So lie down. So lie down to clear your mind of any haze, and remember to forget all the past ways and all the past days, because what was, it is just it. Remember this, and remember how it feels to slip as you slide, revealing all you ever wished to hide.
Margaret, night. I'm We'll never know if that was actually the end of your poem or not.
I regret putting in so many lines.
Nicely done, though. Nicely done.
Lauren Mcnamara.
Hey everyone, hi Zoom. So this is blank mails. Blank B-L-A-N-K, mails M-A-L-E-S. Jimmy was a blank mail, doing what a blank mail does, following and looking and feeling and being and seeing and figuring out what he wants and what he needs. His hands are soft. He doesn't want people to know that. He has to do something to prove that he's tough. So he fights and he screams and he calls his mum a whore and he feels he needs to do this because his dad ain't there to do it no more. He hits his knuckles off the wall and fuck yeah, they get sore. But he just does it some more and some more and some more and some more. So then his hands won't be soft. At school, Jimmy sometimes tries, but he doesn't really care enough about anything. His teachers tell him again and again, just apply yourself, Jim, and you can do anything you want. But Jimmy was a blank male. He hadn't been given a purpose yet, so why should he apply himself to the pursuit of nothingness? Be anything, follow your dreams, but when he woke up, he never remembered any of them. And that made him mad. Maybe he would try if he had something to try for, but right now, it just wasn't worth it, no matter how good they worded it. One day, Jimmy went home and his mum was gone, an empty fridge, an unmade bed, and a lady in a suit, and this is what she said. She said, Jimmy, your mom's having a tough time. She took a break, but it's going to be okay. I got somewhere for you to stay. And Jimmy replied, fuck you, you don't know my mom, and you don't know anything. And then he ran away, and he slept under the bridge for the next 3 days. But Jimmy was a blank male. He drew his armour and pencil, and it quickly got erased by being out of place, by being 14 in a land of people with no ages, children as old as sages, but as young as the magic can get you. But Jimmy was different. His canvas had no interest in their colours. He liked being blank. He could draw any picture he wanted. He hated this bridge. He saw someone jump off it, and that messed with his head. He knew he had to leave, so he left. Alone. Somewhat. And he went back home. The handle on the door fell looser. Inside, an empty chair, an empty table, a blank mail at a blank home. His mother's cigarettes weren't lighting, the TV wasn't playing, no one was screaming, it didn't feel right. Jimmy went to his room. Inside, he met someone new. Charlie used to be a blank mail too, but Charlie doesn't draw in pencil no more. He uses a permanent marker. Jimmy was a blank mail. Thank you very much.
Caroline McCartney.
Sharon, I had my feelings there, your name before last, so I was like suspicious, you know.
And it's called The New Blue Sea, and it's for Meta and all its affiliates. You are trying to suck the life from me through the warmth in my fingers, the colors in the patch of screen beneath where my thumb lingers, to show me only what I want to see, like a horse wearing blinkers, and try to sum up my worth as just another dull thinker. Try to quantify me in your sinkholes of data, and I'll send you running, scrambling like a ball to a batter, hands open, trying to grasp the crux of the matter, serve my friends in circles like their heads on a platter. You've been fishing in our streams of knowledge. Are you at the gym? Did you go to college? What are you thinking? Have your shoes been polished? What are you drinking? Are your morals solid? Or in accordance with our policy, our sink or swim philosophy? Drowning in the new blue sea, absorbing personality. You will never get to me. You'll never get to me. For if all your colors turn to whitewash, then I won't get swept. Asking me what's on my mind as though I'd forget. Reminding me it's walking time as though I'm your pet. Don't you know stalking's a crime? You go as far as you'll let, asking me for answers as though I'm the subject of some ruling info dragon hoarding my subtext and threatening to kill every impulse of instinct, every chime of free will. Creatures of conformity persecute my privacy, and they advertise to me what it is they must perceive as an insecurity. Hangmen of your honesty and killers of respect that they claim to protect, yet I cannot regret the time that I've spent using you. For in its full context, you're the one still chasing me, and I'll make you sweat. Thank you.
Blue, blue.
My other self. My other self is a night owl, hushed and swift upon her wings, spread out, sailing softly until the hunt is on. Then, like a dart, silently swoops down in stealth, wings tucked streamlined, drops from the starry sky beneath a tacit moon. My other self is the mouse, darting beneath the roots, digging tunnels converging, my nest nestled in a cave, entrance and exit leading upwards, moonlit, to the woods above the ground, with rocks and leaves to hide. There is always a way out. My other self is a tiger, stripy paws padded, smooth as silence, raw as wrath, slick as the supple night that calls the hunter to the bait. Beating pulse, its death cry echoing as my heart steadies under the warm current of blood. My other self is a spider, arachnoid speed on hairy legs, weaving the magic, a sticky patch, an octopod waiting with patience at the lure. Stretched out in blind sight, designed to catch only the best, designed to leave a bite, a mark deep and scary. My other self is the night, itself soothing against the glaring light of day, its quiet satin stream allowing for the song of the universe to pierce the darkness, come through to me, my tiny receiver nearly burning from the brightness of its music. My other self is an angel, the liquid light, the essence. My other self is an angel. The essence, like liquid light, flows through my veins as it flows through yours. And my wings, wide and white, carry me to where I'm needed, to you. And as I touch you and wrap you, my feathers soft as a night owl, this light sparks over. My other self is you.
Karakosh.
I keep trying to capture God by etching him onto the inside of my eyelids, so that when I blink and close my eyes, I'll be divinely guided. And sometimes in small moments, I feel like I do capture God ephemerally, and it's like catching a flitting moth by cupping into the palms of my hands briefly, and then it flies off. And I feel like I can feel God When I see a red leaf uncling from a twig and fall softly from a tree. When I feel the warmth of a hug from a body of someone who loves me. When I hear the soft timbre of my granddad's croaky voice like an old gentle oak. And in these moments, it's like a warm breeze full of clarity and electricity that flows through me. But just as quickly like wind whipping from a passing train that has caught me in the vacuum of its flow. The air and noise are sucked out of that moment, like sand that has been sapped dry by the pull of the tide's magnet. And I'm left trying to write about God, trying to sing about God, trying to recreate the Creator through creative means. But I am shackled to Plato's cave, trying to mold a statue out of the shapes of God's faded shadow. Thank you.
Mel White.
We learnt division with oranges and pie slices. 12 segments, 6 friends divided the pieces to make it fair. Division meant sharing. Then we learnt if we only had 3 friends, we'd get a larger slice of the pie. Somehow we learnt it was justified when some took a second or third slice. The last piece had to be divided into 12 more, and still some children got none at all. We were divided into teams for sport. We learnt to compete. Gold stars for achievement, black mark for bad behaviour. Then we learnt about remainders. 15 children into 2 teams equals 7 aside, remainder 1. 1 child on the sidelines, not chosen for either team. We learnt division, tracing the outlines of maps with borders between nations, like pictures in a colouring book. We learnt to stay inside the lines, learned to divide nations into neighbours into categories like Protestants and Catholics or Muslims and Jews. Well, somehow we learned it was justified. We learned to normalise the divide between those who can shop for designer shoes and those born to grow rice or scavenge for food in the landfill sites or make plastic spoons that are used once and thrown away. We learned division with superheroes and cartoon villains, good versus evil, us and them. Maintaining a constant supply of bad guys provides reassurance that we're the good guys. Somehow, we learnt to identify whose fault it is we're stuck in traffic, who to blame when we don't get a pay rise, or when we realise the water our dreams are sailing on is draining out of the bathtub and our hopes are capsizing a puddle on the bathroom floor. We learnt to scapegoat. We learnt there's such a thing as right and wrong, and that we know at any given moment which is which. We are close to some divine source of almighty truth. We have insider information, exclusive access to the instruction manual on the right way to the live. And we apply this to the minute detail of our lives, implying there's a right way to wash the dishes or parent our kids, and we have the authority to inform others, and they've got it wrong. Somehow, we learn to ignore our commonality, learn not to notice that we all want to be happy, autonomous, authentic, connected. We all want to find purpose. We all share the same needs. We all need air, food, shelter. We all need a biosphere that can sustain life. We need to reduce our emissions to net zero. And we also learned at school, it doesn't matter how many times you divide a number, you never get to zero. You end up with smaller and smaller fractions, smaller and smaller fractured parts until our world can't hold together. We need to stop dividing. We need to multiply new ways of thinking, stitch the world back together like a patchwork quilt, gather all the fragments and rewrite the curriculum. Instead of learning to divide, we need to learn about mycelium, the network of roots that binds our world together. We need to learn that forests talk to each other. We're as interconnected as flowers and bees, and each time we inhale, we're ingesting the exhale breath of trees.
Dara Brown?
Is Dara Brown, has he made an appearance at all? Turn to the person next to you and ask them, are they Dara Brown? Okay, no, stop. Okay. Okay. No imposters. Guys, a round of applause for our 14 contestants. And thanks in advance to our beautiful judges who have a very hard task now in front of them. I didn't introduce them earlier, but we've Julie Goo, who is Fila, Gail Gore, Kish Filador, generally cool woman and important poet. Former slam champion as well. What year was it, Julie? Long time ago, wasn't that long. We have Sean Lee Lynch, who is our current reigning champion of the All-Ireland Slam Championship. Shauna also has a background in theatre and in film writing, and she's very well put on our judges panel tonight. Stanley Naughton. To be honest with you, the only reason Stan's there now is for gender balance on the panel. We couldn't have all women, really, like people would be complaining. But he is very much in touch with his sensitive side as well. Really though, Stan's a fine poet, most of the time very finely dressed man, and he's well deserves a seat on the jury tonight as well. So I'm going to introduce our guest poet, and while I send our three lovely judges off to deliver off to Coventry to deliberate. So they're going. In the meantime, they're going to be working on narrowing our 15 contestants down to 6. Those 6 contestants will have another poem in their back pockets, I hope, and they will get to perform that after our guest reader for tonight, who is Abby Oliveira. She's a writer and performer based in Derry. Her work is often cross-discipline and collaborative, comprising poetry, storytelling, music, prose, playwriting. She's all into the battles and triumphs of the human mind, body and spirit in relation to the socio-political, cultural tornado that has been the 21st century. Her work has been most recently published thrice in 2021 by Unbound, New Island Books and Dara Press. She's been commissioned as a writer by organisations such as the Mac in Belfast, BBC Radio 4, BBC Radio Foyle and RTE Radio. So if you've now, please give a warm welcome to Abby Oliveira.
Hi. Okay, you can tell me, can you hear me all right through this? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, great. Okay, brilliant. How are you all doing? Great. I miss you so much, Cork. I wish I could be there with you, but I am not. It's been great, actually. I've been really loving listening to the poems of the slammers tonight. So do not envy the judges that job. I can't really hear what's going on in the room with yous. So I'm just going to kind of haver on because I'm only really listening to myself. So yeah, I'll just, you've got me for 10 minutes. And I'll start off with this one. It's called Blue is the Hour. Yeah. Blue is the hour before sunrise, when darkness and light are in perfect balance. We saunter the streets, my camera and I, and home has never been so candid. But the silence of the city is a riot in my heart. The ghosts of rush hour traffic hush to listen to the birds sing gospel. The walls scream in multicolors. We must document it all. The empty shelves, the bog roll citadels, the skyline eternal, granny's couture catwalk masks for the wains behind the glass she needs to look well for. Blue is the hour when we starve for touch, when 2 meters between us is a continent and yet we have never felt so damn close. When every day is a very early Sunday morning walk home to precious things, to where time is never spent but invested. Home. When will you randomly roar yo at me again? When will the voices of matriarchs split the evening sky and run right through me for a shortcut again? When will it all be sweet to the beat? When will everything quit being so terrifying, grim and gorgeous and electrifying? When will it all be sweet to the beat again? But the silence of the city is a riot. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I don't know if you were like me and sort of were in your teen years in the 90s. It was kind of a strange time in the late 90s because, you know, there was that whole threat of the millennium bug and all this kind of stuff. And really it was like, we didn't know at that time that when we kind of braced for that wee apocalypse, that really it was just the start of our entire bloody adulthood spent bracing for one apocalypse or the other. So this is kind of about that. It's nostalgic AF, but you know, I love a bit of nostalgia. That's me. It's called Montrose Bridge, 1999. The first time we saw a blood red moon, we read it as an omen. Only 13,157,47 seconds left till the millennium, some coincidence. We were two spotlit silhouettes caught bonny on the old Montrose Bridge, getting nostalgic like we proud freaks did. Sure wouldn't a tsunami of flames soon reduce this arsehole town to nowhere's ashes, and we looked forward to it. This bridge will be the only thing left standing. It's as indestructible as energy, as nothing. We thought we were so clever. We cracked open the MD 2020, climbed into a stone triangle each, awaited the apocalypse. I white-eyed and missed it. You revived me, declaring we'd outlived it with your wine-bloodied lipstick kiss. No spotlit silhouettes stand there in wonderment these days, under the gaze of these generic steel beams. The harbour died of capitalism, and the fishers of men are as a dream that glean no inspiration from this queer skyline of machines. Maybe the red moon knew. This too shall pass, and don't we bloody know that? Be reclaimed by wild grass, maggots, seagulls, shite and salt, by the drip, drip, drops of the Southesk River, sipping on the stone of the old Montrose Bridge while there was still time to share a drink. Thank you. So I don't know. This one is just about potching, really. Potching. For some reason, we up here we emphasize the all part, but I think maybe down with you say potching. Am I right? No, or wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is a wee story dedicated to anybody that's ever been pissed out their mind on potching. Hopefully, there's a few of you in the room. Some of this story is true, more of it is true than you might think. It's just called potching, and really, it's a poem that asks: is potching really getting weaker, or is the world just getting progressively more batshit? I'll tell you what's fake news, said he. What? Says I. Australia, says he. We're on our backs in a field near a border town. Fat moon on black sky, the cocky silver plough lucid among spatters of celestial spray paint and everything. Tourism and I would fucking love this. We could be the faces of a brand new nationwide campaign, only we're both peshed on illegal poaching. Purchased from Martine's mammy's uncle's best pal's brother's wee girl's osteopath for Miss Skaheen. Now, mind just don't go blind, she said, when she handed us the potion at this old halting come dogging sight at 2 o'clock one morning, and oh, how we laughed. And she didn't. She said the first bottle of poaching in Ireland was made by St. Patrick one night when he drank the wine cellar dry, and sure, look what happened to him. Sure, didn't he start tripping balls and seeing snakes and slaughtering rings round him till he came to 4 mornings later and realised that the snakes were, in fact, the entire native pagan population of the island. You don't need that shite in your lives, kids, she said. And then she melted back into the darkness in her hooded black pashmina. Daniel Day-Lewis floats by us in a chunky knit balaclava, looking the number to Martine's mammy's uncle's best pal's brother's wee girl's osteopath for Miss Skaheen's burner phone. But he's not the 7th son of a 7th son, so we don't give it to him. Daniel warns that if I keep using metaphors like celestial spray paint, then I'll continue attracting every space cadet in orbit for the rest of my days. No, listen, I'm telling you, Australia's fake. It doesn't exist, my mate says. Oh, but wait, I've been there. My mates Joe and Anya live there. Your mates Joe and Anya are actors paid by NASA. And for a second, I consider it. That's when it hits me. Like that wee lad Ralphie in that one movie, A Christmas Story, when he finally inevitably shoots out his own eyeball. We have finally inevitably lost our goddamn minds to the bloody poaching. The night in shoes in this purgatory of crazed pagan snakes, a demented St. Patrick eyeballing us from the sky until daybreak, pondering how the CIA might go about faking an entire continent. While the latent murderers within us wait on one more drop of poaching to waken them. It was only by the skin of our sanity did we make it back to normality. To Theresa May, still believing that Wheatfield's the maddest shit she ever did see. To Trump, planning some kind of a militarized space force by 2020, and oh look, Jerry Adams is writing a cookbook. A sort of a culinary journey through the conflict. And by the time we fall asleep, we fall wondering just how well they all know Martine's mammy's uncle's best pal's brother's wee girl's osteopath from Islaheen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Where are we at with the judges? Shall I do one more? Have we time for one more, or are the judges ready to go? One more? All right. Yeah. You're right.
Go for it. One more is fine.
All right. Excellent. Okay. I'll finish with this one. This is called The Trees of Pottenkin Island. This was written after Grenfell. Yeah, it was just me imagining basically the shell of that burnt out building with a voice. Am I gorgeous enough for you now? Look at how I wear this brand new dress. Does it not just scream elegance? Even in this blackest of charcoal black, am I still not business class? Can't you see through this side split? These sultry stairways to heaven smelted the hearts of clouds as they dreamt and scattered their ashes over the rose gardens of Kensington. Have I not stood up as straight as any national monument? Though sick with the woes of unsung ghosts who taught me the words for mercy in so many different tongues, I choked to death. When will they declare the National Day of Mourning? Haven't thousands turned out to mourn, to cover this final restless place in bouquets like royalty? Doesn't the Horse Guards parade and King Felipe's visit look a vulgar ticker tape pageant next to this striking silhouette? Sight of human sacrifice, cenotaph to facades. Well, I say woe. I say woe to those whose greatest sorrow is sore eyes, who could not bear to look. Today they dare not look away from me. The iconic burning tower. The consequences of past actions cause great conflagrations. The trees of Potemkin Island bear poisonous fruit. Thank you very much, everybody. Good luck to everybody who's going to get into the second round.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you so much. I've just checked with the judges. They've asked me for 5 more minutes. If you would like to have an encore poem, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I'm good to go. If you're up for it, if the audience are up for it, I'm good to go. Happy days. All right then. Yeah, I'll do this one called Deep Rest. This was one of the ones that I wrote during lockdown, which I wasn't one of those people during lockdown who did loads of artistic work. Couldn't really, well, I had a newborn baby as well, but I didn't feel massively inspired to write during lockdown. But I'm sure that I wasn't. You just were pretty much all like myself in terms of like when that feeling during lockdown when your house suddenly started to feel way too small, and then your whole town felt too small, and then the whole bloody country, then the whole bloody earth felt too small. So I needed to just kind of shift my mindset about how I was thinking about small spaces and try and just shake myself out of this feeling of being so buried, So I wrote this. It's called Deep Rest. It's inspired by me dad's wee veg garden. Me da walks me through the tiny veg patch out back of the flats that he's cultivated for more than a quarter century. The garden that's grown with me like some sibling stranger. There's enough food here to share for a year, and plot lines abundant for 100 soap opera scripts. The sheer scandal among these drills is unreal, me da says. The onions have choked the carrots for sneaking into bed with the garlic. The tatties have thrived by turning blind eyes to their antics. Big Rosemary said she'd day time for the parsley and chives, while wee Sage just wants to cleanse the negative vibes, man, and a squash that watched it all kick off his traumatized heads. Stunted growth. In 5 wide strides across, there are chapters versus verses. Entire worlds and universes, series, features, trilogies, gardeners know the meaning of being supreme creators. And when Da speaks these stories into existence, his expression is that of a brown-skinned Saint Nick, all the way down to the tinged pink nose that gives laughter that I don't even need to force. The entire world has paused, but we are invincible summer still. As cocooned in a chrysalis of cataclysm, as I now feel there's room to grow and bloom still. A song sings on repeat from the darkness. Our words have power and magic in the mind, the direction they point you in. And I'm reminded how cocoons are incubators, not prisons. Both night and day raise the hay, and Gareth, bugging out in some secret location, says, think preservation, not isolation. And I feel another poem kicking. This morning, in a state of deep rest, not depressed. I grew an entire short film script out of scraps in my imagination, and its mere existence is indicative of a good harvest. And when I finally get back to Manannan at Gortmore, I'm going to bring the sketchbook and watercolors. I'm going to paint the very eye of this eternal storm. I'm going to snort the entire north coast up from breathing in so deep and stretch my arms and conduct waves and take up space when I dance. I'll add all them notions to the bucket list. There's space abundant for chapters and verses, series, features, trilogies, 1,000 years worth of stories. Shh. Is it just me? Or have the birds in that crabapple tree fierce learned to sing? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much again. Paul, could I get the mic? Could I get the mic on, please? Thanks so much again, Abby Oliveira. And we're going to invite Abby back to us while, again, the judges are deliberating this round 2 for a shorter reading. So thanks so much for keeping us well entertained in the meantime. I have a list of not 6, but 7 names here now, because there was a bit of a tie situation. I hope all readers are present. Is there anyone lingering outside having a stress cigarette? They're all in the stairs, okay. Can you hear me in the stairwell? Serious fire hazards tonight, no less. Okay, I assume they're in no particular order? Okay.
And it'll be random anyway when they're called.
Okay, thanks again to our judges for coming up with these 7 names. And in no particular order, our finalists for the next round are Jim Crickard, Cahill Holden, Richard Pierce, Lauren Mcnamara, Sue Blue, Kieran McCartan, and finally our 7th contestant is Mel White. Thank you so much to all other contestants. I'm sure you had a very hard job, the judges. So we are going to go straight into round 2, right? We're going to go straight into round 2. Okay. I suppose we want to randomize this as well. Do you want to tear up? You have those names and all.
I want all of them.
Oh yeah, okay. You just take everything there now. So, okay, round 2, 7 contestants, and we will continue as per usual.
Cahill Holden.
Let's go.
It's early, bird and worm awake. I meditate, I wash, I shave, face my reflection in the microwave, get change like I got lives to save, then out into the underworld I run to work beside the train. I grapnel and I rappel up the building side. I crip walk past the window on the top floor of your mind. I clock in on the precipice and for a shift I just exist, hanging from the long hand by my goddamn fingertips. Atop of my metropolis, taking the pre-apocalypse, all circus and no bread. It only swells inside your stomach, makes you feel like you've been fed, and it's all evolution when the mysteries are said, but I'm discussing revolution and I'm pondering the pledge. Cause they're insured in case of rain of blood. They're paid if there's a plague of frog. The system moves the wealth around from the bottom to the top. We hit the chicken soup kitchen for the bulletproof soul. Soup of the day-to-day is a sense of self-control. We're driving stick and leaded. She's a priest down in the abattoir. We feed the vultures and the cannons by the grease-collecting reservoir. I empty out my pencil pairings for the woodworm and the pigeonholes, and it's back to shrinking giants to the wrong end of a microscope. And the future's writ upon the wall between the closing downs and coming soons. I'm sorry we can't serve you now, the kitchen's out of wooden spoons. And it's pinstripe every day, tourniquet casual, numb from the neck down, vegetable animal, underworld, underground, peacoat and scarf. I feel a little gangrene round the guillotine scars. See, it's ever so easy to be perfectly balanced if you're standing on the shoulders of the vertically challenged. I light a cartoon cigar. I step into the street. Maybe it was drawn bad and maybe I'm just cheap. And I pay my respects at a hatchet's grave, and it's a quick trip back to the batshit cave where I change as though the day was saved, though all I've saved are rainy days. I keep an appointment with my anesthesiologist. She dispenses purple evenings from an easy full of novelists, sat between the cavemen and off-duty anthropologists, with the other broken broncos from the rodeo clown colleges, and I'm like, hey, with a long face. I take a cig. I started on the vaporizer. I've been in the saddle thanks to emotional stabilizers. You've got my prescription. I don't have to ask. Every night is bin night. We go out with the trash. Thank you.
Neil White.
Neil White.
It started in a dark place. There were those who believed it started with a big bang, and those who believed it started with a word from the lips of one man. But the truth was, it started underground. It started the way all things start to grow. It started in a dark place in the harsh depths of winter. It started with a seed bomb. It started under the ground, in the graves of Palestinians, in the rubble that remained of a town, in the eyes of a woman covered by a burqa. It started in a dark place. It started in the skin of children who laboured in sweatshops, raked through landfills, mined for cobalt. It started in slums without sunlight. It started in a dark place. It started in the guts of fish suffocated by plastic, in the last gasps of the polar bear, in the horn of a rhino prized by poachers. It started when sea levels rose, when the earth was quaking and people fled their homes amid floods and droughts and hurricanes. It started in a dark place. It started in tower blocks, in tenements and homeless shelters, hobbit holes and squats with windows boarded, curtains closed. It started underground, in tunnels dug to protest the cutting of trees and the laying of pipelines. It started with campaigns and petitions, banners and parades. It started in student bars and warehouse parties, at campfires when guitars were passed around. It started with conversation. It started with education. It started with meditation. It started the way all things start to grow. It started with slowing down. It started with stopping. It started when we stopped pushing forward and pulled back into the earth. It started a cycle of rebirth. When the trees had shed their leaves and people stopped believing in eternal growth, it started with letting go of greed, with letting there be winter so that seeds could sprout again. It started in a dark place. It started in barren soil and former carbon sinks where forests were clear-felled. In arid desert scrub where nomads dwelled, it started in the ears of those who could hear the whispers of water. In the stories told to their daughters, it started with listening to the moon. It started in silence. It started in unspoken dialects. It started without violence. It started with a vision. When mankind was asleep, it started creeping into dreamtime and wrapping around our feet with a capacity of bindweed. It started to unite us, to rewrite the pathology learnt in our childhood. It started a new mythology, a new awareness that the biosphere is shared. People started to care. They started to look for solutions. It started a revolution. It ended pollution, ended oppression, ended the perception that human nature's cruel and survival of the fittest meant every man for himself. It ended poverty and wealth. It ended war. There were those who believed it would end with a big bang, and those who believed there was no end to the damage done by man. But the truth was, it ended the way it all began. Shrank back into the earth, refertilized the soil, and prepared the ground for the future. It ended the way all things ceased to grow. Thank you.
Richard Pierce.
Recently, my mind went under a capitulation, resulting in the self-stipulation demanding that I become stern and learn to be heard. And I knew then it was time to leave my line of work. And initially it was discerning, learning that there was a world that revolved without me, and I spent some time estranged from the reality of earning. But after a few weeks, it became apparent that my expedition into creative exposition went into remission and led nowhere productive. Well, in a monetary sense at least. So my life became reductive as my income ceased to a dribble of cash in hand, odd jobs. I robbed the tax man as best I can to fund a caffeine addiction with the restriction of knowing that what I spend, it was never going to be replaced. And I traced my life through day-to-day delusions, a fusion of illusions, avoiding questions of my future, sutured by the fact that, I'm still relatively young, yet so highly strong. I sung a few songs and I sung myself into the mold of an artist, but I was unable to resist the tempests of creative stasis. My moods in flux, the crux of all our lives arrived at my undecided mind. That's what the fuck am I doing with my life? Because as you probably know, simply existing doesn't hold an economical value. And in lieu of society devolving into a meritocracy where I receive on the basis of a social standing, or a kleptocracy where it's permitted to just take as I fancy, I need to figure out some ways of making money while maintaining sanity. But my vanity, it's compounded because I'm surrounded by friends whose momentum, it just seems unfounded, happy with their lives. It's visible in their eyes. And a counsellor once queried, would I prefer to live life either sedate and easy or poor and interesting? And the sting is that I think I want the best of both. But I feel like I have neither.
Mcnamara.
Visiting Granny in the visiting room with the armchairs and a broken grand piano that still plays beautifully if you know which keys to use. Granny smiles, her eyes as young as ever, and she just keeps singing these old Irish songs, and she tries to get you to sing along even though you don't know the words, but you just pretend because she's lost her hearing aids again and she can't tell if you don't. But she's happy and carefree and just has fun, and she lives now in her own world, and that's a place of music and splendour, and the staff in the nursing home take care of her, and she's come to realise she probably won't go home, but she's okay with that, and she asks how her husband is, and you say he's fine. You bring her a magazine and she loves this because her eyesight is better than yours and she sees everything. She sees you and tells you, you got so tall and also a little fat. And she tells those around you that you're a good scholar in school and you'll become a teacher soon, and she gets presents on her first day, on Mother's Day, and Christmas, and she tries to give them away because she doesn't want to have too many things, and she asks how her husband is and you say he's fine. You bring in your girlfriend to meet her. She smiles, says she's pretty, and asks when you're getting married. And I say, not for a while, but when I turn to confide her, she confides in her that she thinks she'll make a lovely bride. And to be fair, I am the oldest grandchild, and well, Granny's 93 and she just wants to party. But she tells you it was a hard day seeing Grandad in hospital, and it was difficult to see that man in a bed like that, and you agree and say, I'm so sorry, and then you just shake your head because she hates to wear her hearing aids. And then she asks how her parents are. And you know to tell her they're fine, because the first time you didn't lie, you said they'd passed away, and she asked, when? And you said a long time ago, and she looked at you and asks, why didn't anyone tell me? I didn't even get to say goodbye. And then she asks what happened to her family home that she hasn't been to in over 40 years, and you say you don't know, and then you just shake your head because she can't hear you. And then she sings. And she's happy and carefree, and she tells you you got to go now because it's lunchtime and you're in the way. And she laughs and smiles, and you do too.
Be quicker.
A hen party in the George. We're out in force from Tullamore and we're going to the gays. I want my own Graham Norton. She wants an Alan Carr. So we're heading for the gay bar. Be careful around corners. Don't make eye contact at the bar. Look out for the mom. She's on safari in search of exotic birds. For a parrot to echo her punchlines, or maybe a cockatoo. They're prowling around the cocktail lounge. They're looking for me and you. The mother of the bride uses her lazy eye as an advantage, edging into a group of faces with meandering conversation, blocking their exit, unsure who she's addressing, as she talks about her gay hairdresser and how great he is with the scissors. I've never had a problem with the gays now myself, she says, pausing to sip from a pink plastic penis, pausing for praise. And one by one the gays fly south, migrating to the bar, to the dance floor, to South Africa if necessary. Snobs, she calls them. Them gays can be awful touchy. All is soon lost and forgotten when she sees the Black Crow drag queen stalking her long legs across the stage, 7 feet tall, silver crown of feathers, reflecting light off the disco ball. Jesus, she says, stealing the microphone. You're looking better than me. I should feckin' hope so. You're twice me bleeding age. Slowly, slowly, the hen party has pissed off all of the George, abandoning punctured plastic husbands all over the stage, flashing so many cameras it feels like E.T.'s family has landed. A gathering parliament of lesbians encircles the hens. A murder of goths flies down from the VIP lounge. I wonder if they've seen Hitchcock's movie, The Birds.
Carol McCartney.
Oh, twisted tongue. I'm not a pleasant fucker, I'm the pleasant fucker's son, and I'm going undercover as a motherfucking nun. Kicking your bad habits and sucking off your scum. It's not that I'm an addict, I just do it cause it's fun. I'd be just as glad if the ending never comes. A staple in your sadness like a nail in a gun. I've been practicing for madness, seems I'm not the only one. I pretend to be passive, but my silence weighs a ton. Pass me when I'm laughing and catch me when I'm done. Give me my cue for passion, take a lash from my tongue. I've been shorted on my ration of fresh air in my lungs, and I can't cough for gasping. Couldn't hide, so wouldn't run. Call me Betty on the bread and butter with a bitter taste in my mouth. I was trying to keep it in the cupboard, but it must have been left out. To mention would bring tension, so instead I'll sit and pout. I am deafened by your whispers, but can hardly hear your shouts. A white elephant in a white room is easy not to talk about. All this time spent in costume has got my sense of style in doubt. Get me in my birthday suit and kick me off the casting couch. I only wanted the pursuit to think that I was thought about. You only want me for my youth, to give you things you've been without. I've a twisted tongue and sweet tooth, and to my vices I'm devout. Peter's in a pickle now, he's putting pepper in his pipe. His brain's a little brittle and his eyes can only open tight. His friends are acting fickle and his enemies are acting nice. And even though his skin is thick, he's sick of all the talk they shite. Sometimes he's sure they're full of it, others he wonders, are they right? He overdoes it when he's under, goes wandering the streets at night. He's always had a hunger, but of late it seems he's lost his bite. And there's nothing I can conjure that would meet his appetite. For I'm the cook too many in the kitchen, spoiling broths, and I put all the fixings into the boiling pot and wait for it to thicken like a slow burning plot. And I will keep on mixing until the penny drops.
Sulu.
There are 2 or 3 stools up here. If anyone's tired of standing, help yourselves. Sorry, Sue. Go ahead.
This is called spirals.
Yay!
That day, the arguments flew back and forth. Again, round and round, spiraling deep into the night. There is never just one involved in conflict. As we finally lay in the bed, both naked, backs turned, each on the outer edge, I whispered, "Anyway, this is not love." That's when you cracked, jumped out of the bed, yanked me out by my arm, nude as I was, thrust me against the wall and battered me with your fist. My skin too bare to protect me, my arms too short to stop your thrashing, my eardrum too weak to break the thrust of your blow. I had only my eyes to seek yours and hold them with love as much as I could. The only thing I knew might help now, love. As morning rose raw after 2 hours sleep, my head droning and pea-warm air seeping from my left ear, I failed my driving test. And winter turned spring in the throes of spiraling, eroding emotions before I was strong enough, hurt enough to make the break finally. Now, a trace of silver hair in my reflection and no more spirals. I bless myself still every day that I did.
Is that all 7?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bula Boss for a 7 finalist. Well done, everyone. I don't think Colin got to hit the gong once there, did you? Do you want to do it now? Yeah, go on. Get it out of your system. Well done, everyone. Fair play. It looks like we're in time for open mic later. we're in time to have a full open mic. So if any of the contestants that didn't get to perform the second piece, you might want to do it on the open mic later on. Just before we get to that, I'm going to send our judges off again for an even tougher task. They are going to narrow down our 7 finalists down to 3, which we will send all expenses paid to the Nano Nagel on the 27th to compete there. And while our judges are doing that, I'm going to invite wear that. In the meantime, I'm going to invite Abby Oliveira back to read a shorter reading this time for us. And after Abby's reading, we will announce the 3 winners, and then we'll give you a lovely break then, guys. You can break all your tension before open mic finally. So welcome back to the Mic Online, Abby Oliveira.
So, oh my God, what top quality stuff from the Slammers tonight. Fair play, brilliant. Yeah, so I'll just jump on right in and get on with it, I suppose. So before I start, can we have just another wee round of applause for all the Slammers, please? Brilliant stuff, brilliant. Okay, I'll do this piece. It's called Big Tide Rising. It's about up here in the north of Ireland, the traditional demographic is shifting. So this is for the others like me, those of us who have to find ourselves continually ticking the other box in all the monitoring forms. Big Tide Rising. We are the others. Too much for one flag. You won't find us up lampposts or in old songs or photographs on the chamber walls of history. We live right here under the eye of Mcnamara, the mountain that curdled Viking guts just by being. We made dusty sepia white men look to dusty sepia and white just by being. And now we've infiltrated the monitoring forms and they still can't compartmentalize us drip by drip. The big tide rises. We are drops, grains, and flakes of thick skin doing the work in this frozen panorama. Every step we choose makes the earth move even when we can't feel it. Yet still we wonder who we are, but for this mangled road scrawled out for us. We know this salt water won't heal us. We need space to unpick the stitches from our lips, to name our pain, to name our friendships. We need time away from live wires and naked flames whose oxygen is division. And I were entwined in gnarls of partitioned chaos, twisted flags, knotted crosses. We got too close to each other's sweat as we grafted those. Peeked under bandages, felt the stink of crawling flesh. We shared too many playlists, playgrounds. We passed too many last drags around to swallow all the fireside stories without question, like medicine. And now with each passing tick, other tick, other tick, the big tide rises. And we are never, not ever turning. Thank you very much, everybody. This one is called The House Settling at Night. I don't know if any of you have ever done that thing where you go and walk by your childhood home that you don't live in anymore, and the sort of weird feelings that it throws up. Like the place never sleeps still because it's alive with all your memories. And that's just about that, really. This empty nest will never be quiet. It shrinks with every tick of the clock. Floorboards tout and memories riot and paper walls can't keep their mouths shut. The window panes tell stories about your siblings still. Winter rivers rush from Heart and Arrow to Sill, the milk cart shivers uphill. Seagulls still seething o'er the death of the fishing scream at bairns who've slept in for school. Day shift bell at the pharmaceutical factory on the doorstep screams as well. A swell swallows 4 fishermen, but nobody's heard yet. This empty nest won't reach. Even if it gags the TV, bribes the baby, hides the last fiver, hushes its heartbeat, lies, light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather, stiff as a board. The spiders will still find tackety boots to wear. The rhythm of the debt collector's raging knock will crack everything up. And long after you're gone, when the house settles at night, full up, old bones snapping, full up as it nods off on the stories of others, you'll wonder if the sticks and twigs that built this place still turn to forests at 3 a.m. Or if some kid ever did discover the abandoned village and the ripped wood chip, the faces peering from the cornicing. Thanks very much. Thank you. Should I dive in with one more, or are the judges there waiting in the back of the room ready to go on? Where are we at, people?
Yeah,
One more? Okay, great. All right, thank you. Okay, this one is called Dandelion. It's just a tribute to a friend. You are a dandelion, my friend. You bring light in. Sure, it's always been your nature. You grew out in the backwoods, nurtured by burnt earth and beer tins, karaoke machines and discarded roaches, and though most of the estate didn't know it back then, girl, you are medicine. Put here to help heal the sickness, where all talk of living is silence to allow folk to die in peace, believing themselves to be only weeds. This is where you learn to be an artist, where you ripped up that concrete like Andy Dufresne, spent every day chipping away at those condemned walls with paint brushes and needles, threaded like your life depended on it, because it did. Our kind, we don't just scribble for amusement. Our kind, we learned to do this by writing our own lifeline since we were kids, saw characters inhabiting other worlds and patches of ripped wood chip next to our beds. We learned to storytell while our mothers broke ornaments and promises not to hurt themselves. Yet, girl, there will always be those who only want to focus on our grammar, our proud use of the vernacular, or our bad syntax. They will not know about the tiny porch you turned into a workshop and dreamed of playing Budokan in college, learning to stilt walk, and dreamed the part-time hours away singing as you cleaned. You dreamed and planted hanging baskets and painted glass, even as that bastard punched harder for every flower in your cap, knowing rightly that not even this jungle could hold you back. And like seeds don't know what kind of flowers they'll grow up to be, so you might never see the butterfly effects of all your courage. Have faith, my friend. They may sprout in the most contentious, the most bitter of places, and then, like you, they will thrive in the worst soil, like the best wine. Thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you so much again, Abby. I will welcome you if you would like to read another, you do have time to. If not, we can also wrap it up there. So it's up to you.
Yeah, look, whatever is best for you, my dear, because
okay.
I know that's not much help. I'm just telling you the decision to make.
We might wrap it up there. So Abby, if you're happy to do so.
Yep, no problem at all. Thank you all very much.
Do you want to give us any leads if people want to find your work beyond tonight?
Oh yeah, well, my website is just www.abbyoliveira.com. That'll link you to everything else, all my socials and everything.
Brilliant. Thanks again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So guys, our judges clearly need more time. So I'm going to give you all a lovely break now to go mad under the full moon. And we'll announce our 3 finalists after the break, followed by open mic. If you would like to read on the open mic after the break, please get your name down on this list, which I'm going to keep up here for you to sign.
Anyone can read.
And anybody is welcome to read on the open mic. Thanks. Anybody. Yeah, work away. Have your stuff. Thanks.
Thank you. It was all a bit of fun. I'm all psyched about the tension. Oh my god.
I know.
6 weeks.
It's okay. I did actually. You did.
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I've been here since 2003.
Well done.
Thank you, well done to you too.
Thank you, Mary.
Very well. It's amazing. It's the standard is really
I tried to do a tough round. I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't.
I don't know. Yeah.
Three.
Oh, you have your own. My own. Do you have your own? No, this is one of the things that's going
It's not a sample.
I was like hovering, waiting for the right time to go first. I was really glad I wasn't the judge. That was like so difficult. It was amazing. Like.
I know that's fine. That's okay. Some you are. I know I'm not. Yeah, it's different. You are doing
Well, now it's beautiful. Like so much power and it's powerful. It's powerful.
Did you see the? It was like down to like.
And I'm sorry that I saw it. I feel like I shouldn't have seen it.
I'm going to do a Quran and put myself.
We should baptize by this stage, just let us say the name.
The man that escaped the and the second room.
That's it. That's it. You can just then go on the here and then you should be able to contact us and then you will be able to find the Vatican, the Vatican fires and the druids and then we should face and see what you see. Just go along and and then you have to find Wishna.it. From there, you can get It was really hard to find things to do, and people, because there were so many talented people to tell stories and it's brilliant. And then it's fun. I mean, it's rushing black fire. It's composed. It's fun. Especially all of the people. Many people dressed those musical costumes, middle age. You can hear like but it's so nice. I went when I was in Pendle, I went to New Plains and but even there, powerful. And these people on the solstice, I was there. It's incredible to watch the line of the sun when the sun is coming down between the layers of the soul.
They're all having to I think that's the the first time I had my own I know
combined and go there, Even me, yeah. Sorry.
And that's how I was able to again and again and again and again. I also put music to it. Last year, very exciting. So yeah, I think I prefer. I'm more proud of myself getting to that place. It's exciting. Lots of opportunities right there.
Look, if you want to squeeze in early or anything, you can just
Where will I put it?
whatever you want. So this is what Michael is.
It's big.
Do you want to win at the end?
Yeah,
Do you
no,
want to win a bit earlier?
Yeah, because I'll be
first?
so nervous. Yeah.
First?
Yeah.
Actually, I can't put you first. There's one girl online needs to go first.
Okay, where do you want me to
I'll
go?
put you second.
So can I put it here and
So
there we are?
what's your name?
Jenna. So it's G.
Genevieve.
Jesus.
Genevieve. Genevieve.
I know,
Jenna.
really.
Jenna's fine.
Jenna?
Yeah. Genna.
Yeah.
Bigger. Bigger. Oh my god.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Jenna, not so big.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Are you ready for the results? So I'm going to invite Sean Lee Lynch from our judging panel to come and announce the finalists.
So thanks very much for everyone for competing. It really was amazing, and it was really, really hard to pick people. It really came down to like the slightest half decimal of a point. And as much as this is a night of celebration, I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed as well. And I just want to say, like, it was so close, and but I know that it is, you know, it can be heavy. But just in my own experience, in 2018, I didn't get through to the final, and I was really sad and raging. But then the next year, I won it, so you can do that too. So don't be disappointed, anybody, because you're all really phenomenal. So with that said, I have the winners here, and I'm going to announce them in descending order. That's the correct way. So the contestant who came in at number 3 is Kieran McCartan. Will they come up? Well done. Fair play. Well done.
Just stand there
Okay. Contested, or why am I saying that? Number 2 runner-up is Lauren Mcnamara. And our Munster Slam champion for 2022 is Jim Cricket. So folks, give it up for our 3 finalists who will be competing representing Munster in the All-Ireland Slam at November at the Winter Warmer, so 27th, thank you. So well done to everybody that competed, and a big huge well done to our
Stay there.
Yeah, we're on show. We're on show now.
Well done again to our finalists. Make sure to pay a visit to Paul there in the corner for your cash prize at some stage tonight.
Wow.
Thank you. And you can sit wherever you like. I'm going to start the old mic. Yay! Unbelievable, lads. Well done. We're going to kick off the open mic now. And we're going to kick off with a lovely lady I just met who's hesitant about coming up here. She's down from Belfast and her name is Jenna Bigger. I believe this is her first time on the mic, so welcome, Jenna Bigger.
Okay. So you fall over as I raise my head. Someday I was thinking that I may find you dead, dying in my eyes, and dying is your heart, and dying is my soul, and my world is torn apart. Shaken in the distance, my head has no reply. Your heart is beating quickly, and then I find your eyes. In the name of my Father and your sons, in the name of your daughters, take one breath and be at one.
Thanks so much, Jenna. I believe those are lyrics to a song as well.
Yeah.
Would love to hear the song. Sounds beautiful. I have a name here I'm struggling to pronounce. I believe it is Legoland. Segolene.
So my first novel 2 months ago I read in French, but now I'm writing in English. So there we go. We can all enjoy. So this little baby was born at the end of August, and it's about all the like random encounters in the streets, and some of you already know it. It's called Across the Streets. Across the streets is where you see me. I'm lost in my thoughts, busy with a long list in mind. The surprise brings a smile to your face. You recognize me first. I wait at the crossing, gazing everywhere but in your direction. Across the street, you count the seconds till our eyes meet. You smile even more. as I stay puzzled, questioning my memory. Across the street, you wait for me, waving softly. The light turns green, allows me to reach you. Across the street, I remember these unplanned reunions, meeting of minutes because neither of us can stay, or of several hours as time disappears while we chat. Who will find me? In the meantime, I'll keep wandering across the streets.
Thank you, Segolene. Could we get Philip Spillane next to the mic?
Thank you very much. This is a new one, and yeah, I'm retreating back to the phone because I want to take a break from my memory. This is to someone who has a very, very beautiful mind, and it's Shalabel. When we slow down, hear the wind fill us, call it an energy, and find a way to hold it together. And when we stand still on a path yellowed by lamps, everyone in their homes moves so fast. When we watch through the windows, the people blur into a strange dance, a city of stories, each brick a different tale. We spy and stand still. And if we hurry, we can go wherever we want to, interwoven between each building, and only set path is onward. Thanks.
Thanks, Philip. We're going to jump online now to Benjamin Burns.
Hello, Cork. I would like to dedicate this poem to a guy called Paul Corrigan. He is Sligo's finest bullshit minor poet. This piece is called Sound Worlds of the Amalga Beings, Sonic Observations from a Biotech Future. Cutting-edge intertemporal recording technology has enabled a team of futurologists and field recordists to capture sound up to 100 years in advance of its occurrence, mapping out for the first time an aural history of the hereafter. This technology takes the form of a quantum time dispersal bot, QTTB, a microscopic technoform which, when projected to a given point in the future, detects molecular vibrations using a pair of ultra-sensitive nanophones attached to its punctiliar lobes. QTTB is programmed to tune in to the sonic environment in real time, beyond time, transcending past, present, and future, and to relay these sounds back to the linear present. The results are in, and they are truly terrifying. In 2024, a lab leak in California will see the release of a pod of xenobots into the wild. Xenobots are biological robots, reconfigurable organisms made from living cells. They have a rewritable molecular memory and can be programmed by exposure to specific wavelengths of light. Initially, scientists will remain unconcerned by the leak. Xenobots are considered harmless, and it is thought that they will soon perish. Not so. Liberated from the controlled environment of the laboratory and reprogrammed in response to sunlight and the Earth's electromagnetic field, the xenobots begin to behave in unusual ways, multiplying and invading the cells around them, scrambling genetic sequences and eroding the boundaries between organic and inorganic matter. Within months of the xenobots' release, Homo sapiens as discrete entities will cease to exist. Animal, plant, bacteria, virus, fungi, silicon, rock, all forms and materials dismantled and recombined by the xenobot's algorithmic behavior. Spectral analysis of the waveforms transmitted by the QTTV reveal a confusion of wonders near impossible to categorize. Technobats hone in on existential crisis, raindrops pitter-patter in quantized beats, watering cans sing lullabies to their tiny sprouted offspring, collared doves coo areas to passing rays of light, cannibalistic flowers shriek at the oblong moon, slabs of concrete pump abstract blood into the heads of Wi-Fi hedgehogs. Decaying cattle low at mobile lumps of clay, howler monkeys sing songs so complex and melodious they make shivering turtle leaves cry thermostats of mercury tears. Human lighthouses with gills illuminate the depths of the ocean. Blackbirds as vast as cathedrals emit supersonic bursts of noise. All molecules become potential tools and potential musicians. Music that is fixed without boundaries, that moves from beginning to end with no middle, shaped by the chemically flexible new chaos mind. And emerging from this disorder, the amalga beings, creatures neither living nor dead, synthesis of matter and light, DNA and binary code, possessing haptic feedback control systems that alter with use and malleable cochlea that contort and reshape themselves ad infinitum. Perception is inherently unstable and the sonic properties of Earth indescribably altered. Songs are no longer to be listened to or enjoyed, but the relief valve of anguished beings whose fundamental state is pain, autonomous war zones in the battle between nature and logic.
Well done, Ben. We get Ryan Morgan to the mic next, please.
Oh, Christ. Has it been there all the time? All right, okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. This is called Easterly Blows Fiercely. Watch the struggle from the petrified shore. The sea roars, its booming guffaw spitting into faces with howling waves of turbulent mirth at the salty audacity shown by sailors seeking to speed into the easterly, straight into the wind shrieks labouring from the birthplace of the sun. Sails slap the sea, goaded by the gusts, boats beaten backward, unable to get a grip against the scrummaging rush. A mast snaps like a chicken wing, its hollow bone jutting jagged. The wounded craft flaps fitfully to the slip. Out in the tempest is a grief of sheets, tangled, whipped around. A cat's cradle of squally snarls. Booms swing with roundhouse kicks, stunning temple smashing lips. But they persevere into the easterly with bared bloody teeth, soaked with gleeful ferocity, bows proudly grinning into the gale, pulses racing faster than the current, and the laugh above the bluster, lads, this is living! There we go.
Thanks very much, Wayne. And with the most respect, I'm wondering, where did you come from? Because I haven't seen you here before.
I'm from Wales. I live in Cove.
Of course. Is it your first time here?
It's my first time to speak in public. I must apologise. I didn't realise I was entering a competition. I was like, is it okay if I come along and do I have to put my name down? And I all of a sudden, I'm sorry I didn't reply.
That explains why you were so indifferent to the gong, so yeah, that's good. That's great. Well done. You reminded me of how my father always says he met my mother. He says, I walked across the dance floor, I didn't know there was a dance competition on, but I won it. So you're a bit like that. Okay, we're going to stay in the room. I hope we're Zoom contestants. I'm doing it now. Mary O'Connell is here.
Thanks, Michelle. This is called Incoherent Definitions. Some find it difficult to make sense of misleading words. They think that carpe diem is Latin for fish of the day. That regurgitation might be the ultimate feedback. Quizzed about a loophole, they search for a long toilet brush. Call idiomatic a Ugandan washing machine, and believe that frog spawn is the latest French blue movie. Mention magnum opus, they see a rotund Irish cat. Tell them to be frugal, they seek a search engine for fruit. The word sub judice conjures the Israeli metro. They think that palmistry is not knowing who your dad is. Or that a homophobe is the guy who hates The Simpsons. That inarticulate means stuck on the route to Dover. These are slow burners. And that a transistor is a nun who was a mister. That syntax was the price that Boris paid for Partygate. Don't ask them to translate sic transit gloria mundi, or you may hear, on Monday, Gloria got sick in a transit van.
Mary was so excited when we saw you walk in earlier, and that's exactly why. Next up, Cedric Bacon.
Breaking dawn. Dawn. And she's gone. Just like the bygones. A conclusion to start the day. At least I won't have to walk in shame. In this cold that freezes the living to the bone. There was nothing left to say, only to generate human heat from skin to skin friction, burn away what's left of us. The wedding, the bedding, the picture frames. I hope she'll catch a warm beam instead of my heart gone cold. Heavy, made of gold, that I flush in a split stream. Away, the last drops fall. The sun rises, sparkles. She's gone. I pray to see her again and ask for forgiveness once I'm finally grown.
Thanks, Ajay. We're going to jump online now to Matt Mooney.
An alternative for a title here would be Joie de vivre, the joy of living. And there's plenty of that around tonight, the long bar. On the Dublin train, free from dreariness at last, from the COVID lockdown and its damned outrages on our minds and bodies, listening to the even rhythm of iron wheels on rails and the swings and rattles of the speeding train, in haste from station to station, as we view the countryside comfortably together. There's joie de vivre in the air, coming from a trio now on board since Limerick Junction. A young lady in blue jeans, her knees fashionably exposed, engrossed in two young gents, happily accompanying her. Her laughter in wave after wave spreads the brightness of her soul, despite the mask that mugs her, until she fills the carriage for us with the exuberance of youth, gushing like bottled up champagne. Thank you very much.
Gurmaí Magat, Matt. So I think actually we'll stay online with our 5-word challenge winner, Jeff Cottrell. And also, Jeff, I have some books here for you that we're going to post out to you, just to let you know.
Thank you. I've already been told in the chat, so I'm looking forward to getting them. That's what they look like. Okay. All right. So I hope I haven't done this one here already. This is called An Honest Proposal. My dear, my love, please accept my hand in marriage. There's nothing more romantic I can think of. Just think of it. Think of the lovely life we'll share. Think of the rapturous wedding we'll hold. Think of the passionate honeymoon. Think of the limitless lovemaking. Think of the joy of stepping into our first house. Think of the tears we'll shed when our first child is born. Think of the pride we'll feel watching our child grow up. Think of the slightly fewer tears we'll shed when our second child is born. Think of the stretch marks you'll have. Just think of it. Think of the years of family dinners spent together. Think of the birthday parties and Christmas mornings. Think of the endless school hockey games and plays. Think of the countless sibling fights we'll break up. Think of the disappointing report cards. Think of the minimal amount of tears we'll shed when our third child is born. Think of the neglect our middle child will suffer. Think of the times our middle child will act out because of our neglect. Think of the moment the cop will tell us our middle child has been arrested for vandalism. Just think of it. Think of the dull daily routine into which our lives will plummet. Think of the day we'll stop going out without the children. Think of the evening sitting in front of the TV and never speaking to each other. Think of the passive-aggressive verbal jabs we'll poke at each other. Think of the moment we'll forget what we saw in each other in the first place. Think of the screaming arguments our children will overhear when they're in bed. Think of the slamming doors and hurled plates. Think of the silent treatments and insincere apologies. Think of the therapy bills our children will pay. Just think of it. Think of the night I'll catch you receiving cunnilingus from my brother's weightlifting trainer. Think of the condescending tone you'll adopt to mock my sexual inadequacy. Think of the tiny basement apartment into which I'll move. Think of the vicious, exhausting court battle we'll prolong for months. Think of the enormous legal bills and time wasted. Think of the way we'll make our children choose which of us they love more. Think of the friends we'll lose and the gossip they'll share. Think of the size my belly'll grow as I just stop caring. Think of the botched plastic surgery that'll symbolize your desperate drive to stay young. Just think of it. Think of the thousands of lonely nights of TV dinners and masturbation. Think of the chronic online stalking of old high school crushes. Think of the, oh, you're leaving. I suppose you need more time to think. I'll be waiting here with this beautiful tungsten wedding ring. A life together. Just think of it. Thank you. That was an honest proposal. Thank you. Just so you know, I am going to be on tour on your side of the pond starting this Saturday. So I'm going to England and Northern Ireland and even Paris. So if you're there on Zoom or if you know anybody who's there, check it out. I will put the dates in the Cork. Maybe next year, Cork. We'll see. Maybe next year. I've gigged in Dublin. That's the closest I've come.
Did you hear that, Jeff?
I missed it. What was it?
Just come to Cork. Just think of it. Just think about it.
I will think of it.
Well done and congratulations again. And good luck in your tour. Sounds great. And please do share the information with us, and we will think about going to Dublin. And next up to the mic, we get Eleanor O'Brien, please.
Hello, I came to support a friend tonight, and on the way my dad said to me, he's like, where are you going? I said, Cork, I'm going to a poetry slam. He said, oh, bring your poem. And I was like, no, I won't. And then I did. So this is the poem, also first time reading things in public. It's exciting, but nerve-wracking. Yeah. Your support is welcomed. So this is called Honey Butter, and it was written on Friday, the 26th of August, 2022. Wow. Thank you. There's more. I am not necessarily trying to do anything or be anyone. I just had this feeling of my tummy turning to butter, soft yellow before liquefying under your stare that melted me. I am butter and you are honey, not a combination that people seek out or want. We aren't even chalk and cheese, though we are both spreadable on toast. Me in dishes to make them creamy, and you in tea to soothe a throat. I wished we lived closer beside each other. You rich in gold, me gaudy and yellow like Simpson skin. Bees making you into pentagon shapes. There is a queen over you. And I'm gonna take it out of the thing because the light's freaking me out. Sorry, I can't see it. Bees making you into pentagon shapes. There is a queen over you. I am churned through 4 stomachs and churned before I take shape, salt added or unadded. I have no queen, just a maker, just a process. Follow the guidelines to make me. Thousands of bees source the most beautiful flowers to make you, and I admit, I am jealous. You are a hobby that the hippies take to. I am lost. No one wishes to churn me up in barrels for hours, the arms going in the same motion, sore and sweating as a paddle goes round and round. You in a jar presentation day, me in a silver wrap. People with high blood pressure are warned of me. They know how I clog the lines of a heart, and I wish I clogged the lines of your heart. Then I would be close to you. Honey and butter. I want to be the butter to your honey. I don't care that it's obvious I'm getting the better deal. People look at us and whisper, but I'll be chuffed, honey on my arm. Moses spoke of a land with milk and honey. I was once milk. Maybe you could see me that way. Milk and honey named on shower gels hanging in showers, the white and gold symbols to represent Could you see me for what I truly was? Look past this yellow jaundiced colour to my soul of what I was and what I came from. From a queen, bee, or a cow. Either way, still taken and borrowed, never returned. And I want to be the milk to your honey, but the reality is, I am butter to your honey. I will call you honey and you will call me butter. Honey butter babies we will have, and I will liquefy myself down, hot and searing to be mixed with you, to get into your crevices. I want you to envelop me, to suffocate me with your gold, to create something new in me so I cannot feel myself. Gold, the colour of heroes, goddesses, and a crown you will forever be cast in. Hot, searing, honey. They promised us honey growing up, and I was promised honey. Thank you so much. You're all so lovely.
Thanks so much, Eleanor. Delighted somebody told you to bring that with you tonight. Next up, I'm going to introduce a local poet of ours that's had her poetry film in the Indie Cork Film Festival this week, as did Paul and Rosie, as did John Horan. So a bit of a bull watch for that. And this is Lorna Donovan.
Thanks very much, Michelle. This is a bit of a work in progress, or that's my excuse anyway if you don't like it yet. And but yeah, I said I'd read it out to see how it tastes. Binge. I'm off cigarettes, except those times I make an excuse to go down the village for an hour or two. I grab my bag, the one with the zip pockets stuffed with scrunch coils of polo rolls and loose mints buried like eggs in a sparkling, undone nest. In with body spray, deodorant, a collection of lighters mismatched like a section in an art gallery titled Contemporary Chaos, and a bottle of that vaguely green little hand sanitizer that eats all regretful scent, except the chemical afternotes of itself. When I'm in the shop, marching to the cashier, guarding those black doors like they're filled with pornography, I'm as focused as lightning. I wish I could be as focused at my desk, at the blank page, or when my mother is telling me a roundabout story where we've already missed the exit 5 times. I imagine the life of the cashier as they turn to press the dispensing buttons, measure their words for the weight of judgment, but mostly they don't seem to care that theirs is the hand that presses the button on the automatic system that dispenses death sticks. I reach for the pack of Marlboro Gold after that digital tick of approval says I haven't yet burned all the money in my account. I go past the petrol pumps, the car wash, far down the back of the lot where there are 2 wooden tables with wonky cloth umbrellas occluded by a block of parked cars. The whole area is sticky from scraps of abracadabra left by the school-age teens on break for lunch, and in such a hurry to grow up, there's no time to put the rubbish in bins. The sky puppies don't mind, but instead swoop down and shake half-empty containers of garlic mayonnaise so seats and feathers alike get speckled white. I sit in my corner, where the line of cars offers some protection from sister-in-laws and moms from the school. I rip open the pack, remembering to put the little strip of plastic and silver paper somewhere I'll remember to throw away, as I'm now going on 20 years disposing of the evidence of this crime, and I suppose that makes me a master criminal. I light the first cigarette, and that first one is the best, not just because of the mild burn in my throat, in my chest, like a tight hug from a best friend I haven't seen much of lately, but because all the rest are still ahead and reality is still a long way past that. When I did this almost 10 years ago, sitting outside a supermarket on my break from work, I smoked 3 in a row and then vomited into a plastic shopping bag. I swore then I would never smoke again, but over the years I guess I have improved in a perverse way, because now I can easily smoke 3 and as many as 6 before I start to feel sick, nauseous, with a headache hammering on the frown lines between my eyes. I sit a minute to make sure I'm not too dizzy before I walk 10 meters to the red bins cheerfully emblazoned with immortal ice creams that never melt, only fade with age. I throw away the rest of the pack along with the butts I've gathered up, because an ornithologist friend told me once he was on a job where they had to cut open dead baby birds to determine how they died, and found the bird parents had fed their babies cigarette butts one by one, like fat plastic worms. The butts filled the babies' stomachs like concrete, too big to leave and too jealous to let anything else in. And so the baby birds starved with full stomachs and died. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Lauren. I do have to say at this point we are under time pressure for the latter half of the open mic. So if you do have the option of reading a shorter piece, please choose that one. Next up, we have Niall Hearn, please.
Tongue-tied, tied tongues. Tongue-tied, tied tongues. We stayed up late all night speaking in tongues, yeah. A chance of fate in the interim. And I swear you won't take another one. City lights and blah, blah, what's on? I've been found and now I'm a lost son. I look in the mirror, I swear I'm not the only one. You see, sounds slither softly, slowly, and sometimes I'm kind of soft, gooey, all bones on the inside. But my mind's much sees it clearer than ever. That I've been picking fights with the fella in the mirror, and I know I said it before, that I've been seeing clearer. I want to spit words and then lick the fire, cause time is a drag-on spliff and then split tired. No sweat like pre-spire, it's dire, but again with ye, I'll have to conspire. Cause we stayed up late all night speaking in tongues, yeah. We stayed up late all night speaking in tongues, yeah. My heart was heavy, I took it out for a while. Now I've got no more words, so I just... Through the tongue came sound's essence. Dull your senses, crack your skin, and feel the feet beneath your feet, and eat your teeth, and crave the birth, crave the rebirth, and bless this curse. Crave the rebirth, and bless this curse. Cause we stayed up late all night speaking in tongues, yeah. We stayed up late all night speaking in tongues, yeah. We stayed late up night speaking tongues. We stayed late night tongues. We stayed.
Thanks so much, Niall. We're going to jump online to Massimo.
Hello, always happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me okay? Maybe we need a new story. Somebody come and just tell us a story. What if the world that we see is an agreed upon story, and what's true becomes truth just by choosing your story? Stories we tell generations for ages, to find our locations across times and spaces, to raise up foundations that say what our name is and make out our faces in humankind's pages. Some stories explaining our roles in creation, as told by our ancestors' close observation. Even small talk and waiting is folklore in the making, when folks get together for stories exchanging. See the young and the elderly come in assembly, strengthening roots lest they loosen forgetfully. For any community losing identity, communion is truly a beautiful remedy. Passing down knowledge from son turned to father, from mother once daughter, a family honor, from spirit to soul where the fire's an altar as all gather round with a story to offer. So join a cipher with codes to decipher where you're the code writer. Rewrite yourself as the lover or fighter, the kiss or the sword, but the story is mightier. Maybe there's no information, just forms of our thoughts that form thoughts in formation. If facts can be changed just by clever arranging, then maybe stories tell truth that shows truths ever changing. We are all living history. Look what you've lived to see. Tell your own story as you prophesy what is to be. No need to tell the world all your love, joy, and misery. As you reveal yourself to yourself, you help us all reveal our mystery. Like webs we weave, gather us. Our tales spun unravel us. This world's patterns pattern us, but also are wrapped in us. The image we cast of ourselves cannot capture us. Like mirrors refracting us, may break, but can't shatter us. So, as our storm passes, we become forecasters who don't just see storms coming, but bring warmth for their passage. And can we change the past just by telling it backwards? We'll just tell our own future and choose what comes after. Peace and love. All right.
Thank you, Massimo. Always a pleasure. We're going to stay online with Pam Campbell, please.
Hey, y'all. Can y'all hear me okay? Yeah. Good. I'm struggling with technology, but here we go. The title of this is Until Death Do Us. Excuse me. Until death do us part. You didn't say it. My new father-in-law insisted, popping peanuts handful after handful, pulverizing open-mouthed. Tossed and turned by tongue and teeth, his muddied saliva bit and chewed my marriage day. Until death do us part, you didn't say it. His son and I memorized our marriage vows, more meaningful, more personal, more binding, so I thought. I take you to be my husband, to have and to hold, not own, from this day forward. The night before warned. His goddamn fucking idiot rained hard when I, knees down in midnight grass, refused to stop searching for the tiny gold cross necklace, precious to one unused to gifts. I ran, but returned, priest calmed. For better, for worse, binding sentence. For richer, for poorer. I, accustomed to lean days, didn't fear this. But he, figures possessed and stranger to how sides burn and ache with only one meal a day, did. In sickness and in health, a one-sided trade. To love and to cherish, the hardest casualty. Till death us do part. I did say it. This is my solemn vow. I kept my promise, even when blue-black nights, fogged mornings drilled a one-sided covenant. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pam. Hope you're keeping well. Next up, we're going to have Antonio, please.
Hi. So this poem is called The Secret of the Whale. Glaciers are melting, layers of a body. The iceberg can be measured upside down. Enormous plaques of ice dream of rainbows and lullabies. Far in the profound north, close enough to the Arctic Pole, an old whale sings her last song, sleeping in vertical line. The depth of the ocean is still unknown. Only a whale can know. Whales have different dialects, reaching in the depth the end of time. A fisherman from Norway used to speak with the whales, interpreting the language of the trees and teaching them to reach the stars. Thank you.
Thanks, Antonio. Can we get Connor Frawley up next, please? Oh, there.
Hi. This is called the Paps. It's a mountain Kerry. As my legs tremble, heart beats faster, sweat dripping into my eye as I power to the nipple. It reminds me of a passionate and intense night of lovemaking, working my way to the nipple so I can feast on the milk from the goddess Duna, fuel for my soul. The beauty and mystery of Mother Earth, her greatness, her unrelenting toughness, only to make it to one and go again and again and again.
Ermina Connor. Next up, we have Daniel Scholl.
This was last week. I woke before the sun, despite my trouble sleeping, because this is what I wanted, so I might sneak up on the day and get out ahead, run without traffic. I've been hesitant lately, but today I am determined. As I close the door behind me and press play on a podcast, which happens to be about Alzheimer's, which happens to be about death, which I think about often, even if no one wants to talk about it. I've been fortunate to hold it at a distance, except that once I held it closely. Her mind was gone that night, her wig was off, her teeth were out. Those soft blue eyes I'd always known were only filled with fear. She laid there steadily moaning, without any speech. Noise filled the room. Aware of my presence, if not my name, I introduced myself again. I introduced my child, a toddler old enough to stand but unable to walk away, made to bear witness. 18 years later, living life like a trauma response, I've always wondered if I helped cause. But we came to say hello before we said goodbye. One last time, and I took her hand like a bird's broken wing, and I told her that I loved her, and I told her it's okay to go. And I saw solace one last time in the silence as we left. She was gone before the morning. I'm thinking of this morning, as I'm working up a sweat, while a couple of cyclists are keeping pace, talking cheerfully in a language I can't understand. I just want them to go ahead, because I can't go any faster. Before I set out, I read a message from my sister. Dad's in the hospital again. His heart's not strong enough for home. And I push on, hoping that mine will be.
Thank you, Daniel. Next up, we'll have Rosie O'Regan.
I just want to say well done to all the participants. I think that was like incredible, and hats off to the judges because your job is really hard. I entered once and I didn't get through, and I know how like it felt. It was shit. I didn't enter again. Let's put it again. I never entered again. So I wanna just because it's all subjective, isn't it? And people speak to different people. And I want to just dedicate my poems to Mel White tonight now. I'm going to read like 2 little haikus and a short poem, and they're for you because I thought you were amazing, and I'm sorry you didn't get through. So 2 haikus. Seed pods burst, new beginnings wait, rain buds of forest. Roots sprout first, little leaves follow, earth and sky dance. And fallen tree. A fallen tree buds new leaves long after it came down. Year after year, new leaves. Branches that once spanned out now stand tall, their journey to treedom made possible by the fall. And I'll finish with an invitation. There is a path that is not paved. It knows your name, the one you have forgotten.
Thanks, Rosie. Next to the mic, we have Shauna Lee Lynch.
Thanks, I'm going to lower the tone altogether. I love pop music and rap music, but I get really annoyed when a new album comes out. Not annoyed, like when every single song on the album is about sex. And like on the one hand, I'm like, yes, queen, go off, etc. But on the other hand, I'm like, all right, like, and then I feel like a bad feminist, and this is about this. Hey, DJ, I have a request. Can I please hear a song that's not about sex? I love pop stars and rappers even more than the next, but I get a bit jaded at the emphasis that's placed on genitalia. It is impressive to have so many synonyms for one's vagina, and whole albums inspired by bums. But wouldn't it be fun, for the hell of it, to hear a song about something different? I appreciate the sentiment. I'm not promoting censorship. For centuries, women's sexuality was concealed. It's a big freaking deal to be so celebratory. Obviously, I get that it's important. I'm not dumb. I was there when Christina and Lil' Kim invented modern feminism. Wherein lies my dilemma with the current trend is the focus tends to ultimately be on the fella, which is fine or whatever, but when every single song is about raising intermittent organs, it's like, come on, that's Stockholm Syndrome, promoting some nonsense that a woman's self-worth lies in sexual prowess. Nonetheless, for all of existence, the female anatomy has been reviled yet fetishized. Music helps revolutionize body positivity and owning your sexuality, and there is a need for that. I'm not an advocate we should act like nuns, humming PG songs, genuflecting in the club like all you ladies pop your piety like this. No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm part of the problem. A millennial feminist accidentally shaming Gen Z progressives for singing about their hoo-ha just because I don't like that every song sounds like a souped-up Kama Sutra. So let's look at this here a second line. Dissect why I'm dismayed. No shade, but I came of age in a world where girls were told to be sex objects. All that's unfolded to us being treated different. Generations all fucked up in the head from it. Chocked full of complexes from prehistoric gender boxes. So sorry if I'm skeptical when every song is so sensual. My first reaction is no, girl, stop feeding the hegemonic masculine narrative. But to be honest, that's probably my internalized misogyny just exhibiting shame about being female. And I've dissociated so much from the gender prescribed at birth that the qualities we've attached to that identity feel alien to me, and thus creates uncertainty if these songs are truly liberating and not some patriarchal Trojan horse. But of course, I get it. They have a deeper purpose. They are, after all, a sort of protest. Tributes to the clitoris in a world where women's bodies are still being policed is a radical act of defiance. We need a pussy riot, a WAP crusade, because what's the alternative? The Handmaid's Tale? Some people would have it that way. So hey, DJ, I'm converted. At the end of the day, it's all just performative. So who am I to pass judgment? My doubts are rectified. Okay, that's a lie. I'd still like a bit of variety and other topics of discourse, in amongst all the songs about intercourse. But I recognize the nuance and respect the candor. So screw it, just hit play. I'll see you on the dance floor.
Started, but I'm sure. Next up to the mic, we got Cara Kirsch, please.
We have horse blinkers on our intuition, only allowing ourselves a set scope of vision. Dissonant to our cognition, we unfold, holding our time like sand that is trapped within someone else's fingers. We give up our own grains out of an instilled guilt and shame, out of a feeling we were born to rectify sins that were never ours to hold in the first place. Our emperor has no garb on, but he is full up to the brim of garble. Collective blindness draws down our heavy eyelids like closing curtains as to not let the outside light in. These grains we hold slip and ephemerally flit into the seabed that lies between us as islands. When the sediment stirs up, we feel wordless feelings swirl, ones that can be felt even when the face is frozen and words are left unspoken. As universes, we swivel around each other, invisible planets in our orbit. I can see the membrane of your flesh, but not what sparks inside it. There is a depth of us in the waters. Deep blues hide these hidden islands. I can only hope to get to know these through the color of your iris.
Thanks so much, Cara. We get Brendan Duffin up next, please.
So for 10 years, there was a campaign, a national campaign, a local campaign to prevent the destruction of the Tara archaeological complex in County Meath. Eventually, after the court case, people stood in front of the diggers. This last 2 or 3 years, but eventually the road was built. So I was one of the ones that was actually there. And this kind of story has been kind of forgotten, really. Not many historians really talk about it, so it needs to be written about, it needs to be talked about. So this is my take on what happened. Chower. The hill of Tara, the hill of Screen, the valley at the heart of her, the flowing river Gowra. All one body, the old kingdom of Tara. 7 millennia of history, stories of our communities, precious, priceless, irreplaceable, patrimony of humanity, her civilizations buried, our ancestral memory, our legacy, era. Early 21st century, Dublin, the centre of economic activity, commuter towns of Cavan and Meath growing rapidly, car use rising exponentially, people stuck in traffic daily, petrol consumption, new car production, housing overvaluations, mortgage obligations, little time to question the direction of the nation, no trains through the villages. So few buses in this booming economy, at public consultations, no choice but to choose between routes for new roads and motorways. Celtic Tiger democracy through the Tara Valley. A proposed 4-lane motorway, the M3. A proposed toll to pass through Tara daily. A political decision. A highway dividing farms, communities, families, ecologies, a county, a country. Her Green Valley. The cemeteries and cremations of Collierstown, Ardsala, Screen and Castletown. The RAF of Garrettstown, the RAF of Ross, the Longhouse of Trevitt, the Blundellstown Neolithic settlement, Boyerstown, Ballinter, the souterrains of Rosetown, Mesolithic Clownstown, the feasting grounds of the huge RAF of Barnestown, RAF Lou, the wood henge of Lismullen, her oak, her ash, her white thorn, her black thorn, her beech, her elder, her habitats, her hedgerows, her hillocks, her holly, her hazel, green richness of her ground, ancestral, her quiet places. The Dalgan Park public amenity, her river Gowra and Skeaney, her streams and tributaries. All this became the target. Tara became the enemy. In 2003, a legislative amendment allowing the government to demolish any national monument. Grave robbery, now scientific discovery. Veneer of objectivity on a strict budget, timeline, salvage archaeology, retrieve, record, photograph, clock ticking, move quickly. Bulldozers wait to destroy each site completely. Private archaeology companies without comment or opinion, calculating the bill for each excavation. On TV and computer screens, in showrooms, shop windows, industry press releases and political manifestos, in newspapers, on billboards, in the purchases of neighbours, the message was repeated. Many began to believe, subtly, blatantly, it was daily decreed, that Tara was dirt, dead, the past, excavated, violated, poverty, lazy, pots and pans, pishog, savagery, sentimentality, subjectivity, holding us back, uncompetitive, inconvenient, inefficient, insignificant. The message was repeated. It was daily decreed. The people repeated the message. Many believed. Jower. The early warning, nothing, no one was safe. Headed for bank bailout, joblessness, bankruptcy, austerity, housing crisis, homelessness, suicide, the crash of 2008. through pain, court case, protest, election campaign and petition. A community came together to try to halt Tara's destruction. Coppicing Hazel and Ash to build their camps, they kept watch, refused to give up, rose early at dawn, stood in front of the diggers, blockaded the machinery stopped.
Now guys, we're being a bit bold. We've 3 left. We're going to squeeze them in anyway, right? So, Mo O'Connor, are you there?
How you doing? A short poem as requested. And this is a haiku poem for John Cage with accompaniment from the busker Alec, who kindly stopped as I'm just very fitting, isn't it? There is no silence, even in 433, said John Cage one time. Death will not mute us. The hum of the universe will go on and on. No one could predict around 1952 a silent music. One David Tudor stared straight ahead and waited for the final bar. Then he stood and bowed while the silence that was heard travelled around the globe. And so they argue back and forth, they won't give in. Cage, it's only Zen. And thank you to Alex for silence during the poem.
Thanks very much, Mo. Next up, we'll have Sam Knott to the mic, please.
Right, I have 2 things I need to say. The first one is way more important than the second one. I bought a pack of cigarettes earlier on. I smoked 2 and I've lost the fucking box. If anybody finds a pack, hey, there we go. Brilliant news, brilliant news. It's been a good day. It's been a good day. I've got my cigarettes back, and the second thing I need to say, will you stop laughing now, Connor? The second thing I need to say is that my funded campaign to record my album along with this book reached its target today on the final day, so thank you. So thank you to everybody who contributed. I'm absolutely thrilled. For me, the big news, it means I can go and record the album and actually pay the musicians and producers for the contribution, which all these people have helped me out for free over the last number of years. So that's a big thrill for me, so thank you. So I'm going to read a short poem from my new collection called Found. Yeah, thank you. It's an old one, and this is for Shauna. She was brilliant as a judge, and she kept me in my place when I was getting excited. You know it anyway, she. Someday I will understand. Dear Diary, the girl in the mirror looks perfect tonight, like Mona Lisa, but stronger. So why should I be sad and guilty? Why do stupid, crazy, chaotic things? Rebellion, pornography, trouble. The girl in the mirror doesn't know what it's like to be me, dear Diary. How deep in my heart I feel toxic, lonely, infectious. And she'll never get the piece of me that comes out when they turn on the night. I am hooked on that freak show, dear Diary. Deep in my heart, a dirty girl in lace and leather thinks this dramatic quicksand is a perfect lover. But what you see is what you get. And my only wish is the girl in the mirror will email my heart the answer to my weakness, so I can let go of the bad girl and the love that just yesterday I was anticipating will come and get me.
You should say it's Britney, bitch.
So that poem was constructed using Britney bitch song titles.
Thanks so much, then. I'll wait till afterwards for my comments now. And sorry for the abuse earlier. I hope everyone understood that it was all a bit of a joke. Big fan of Stan's. So our final reader on the open mic tonight is Sorrel.
Hi everyone, you're all great, and I'm terrified to do this. I wrote this in 2002, and I didn't have a name until tonight. So I'm going to call it Robin. And I actually wrote it initially in pencil, so it's incredibly hard to read in this light, and I tried to transcribe it with a broken pen down there. But here we go. It's also a song. Walking through the streets and hills, the valleys of the world, I came across a bird's nest. It crushed me with its words. The bird, it spoke of freedom, liberty, equality, and the bird, it knew just one thing, and that's that I was never free. It spoke to me of life and strife in all its trivialities, and when my mind, confused by speech and time, consumed the wisdom and was brought beyond the laden wastes of thought, through barren drifts of action, I realized I was lost in voids so black, thick, and ashen. Neither world nor bird was there to me, as senseless motions felled the tree. Felled the tree. As senseless motions caught the tree I'd felled with my perceptions. The nest fell, cracking my eyes to tears. My flighty friend made no rebuke, but gifted me with silence. The face made no expression. No voice this time, nor prose or rhymes, just a breath and chirp, the lesson. With open arms and grace and charm, flew off to its own discretions.
Thanks so much, Sorel. Will you come back and sing it for us in November? Okay. Think about it. All right, guys. I want to thank a few people now. Wait till the end and give a huge applause at the end. All right. I want to thank everyone that entered the 5-hour challenge. It started the night. It was brilliant. And to our winner, Jeff Cattrall online. I want to thank everybody who competed in the slam tonight. You were all unbelievably fantastic. I want to thank our guest reader tonight, Abby Oliveira, our runners-up, Lauren McNamara and Kieran McCartan, and our winner, Jim Kirkard. And finally, I want to thank our judges and everybody who read on the open mic tonight. Will Boss. To all the newcomers tonight, we're here the second Monday of every month. We really hope to see you back. To our finalists tonight, please come back and support them in the Nan and Eagle on the 27th of November. What are you pointing at? Tickets are on sale now for that. Follow us on social medias. And I have a very unique idea. I think we should all go to Maine's for a drink and have a laugh. The bar has been very good to us tonight. So in return, we're going to get out of here ASAP, to be honest. Yeah. Thank you so much. And Ihawa, Slongafall.
Lads, the tickets for the All-Ireland Final, which is on at 3 p.m. on Sunday the 27th of November, are available on Eventbrite now. And for the next 10 days, they're at a very early bird offer of just €5. Okay?
And shout out to Alex, who's been serving us drink all night too. Barman, yeah. Was it all the Alex?
I could take my
Are you leaving?
I saw someone wondering if
Lovely job, Michelle.
I'm so glad you did it because
there's a lot going on, yeah, but sure, it's the chaos anyway. It's brilliant. I'll go. Congratulations, well done.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, pleasure.
Rosie, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Crikey, Mikey. Crikey, Mikey. I was crying felt what you were saying.
just get the chance to perform. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
You would have been one number one.
Keep going. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Things.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. Thank you. I need a submission from you, guys. Sure, we'll see you at the Ireland. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thanks for everything. You can make it.
Have a lovely evening. See you in a few weeks' time. Yeah, enjoy your night now. Holy.
No big deal. Brilliant.